Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. Say Gus out the remix.
DMB, Tuck Spice, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like the mother dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty, what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. I wasn't seeing no signs, any traces of my baby. Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fun I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the pen station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so charmed. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, a killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl.
Body me LP, oh yeah,
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe, shaped like a cocoa bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk, she must be from the planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger, we look good together. Take your place in my heart with your beauty. I'ma say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
So the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I kept on saying is wow. Your beauty shines and breeze at night. All I really want in my life. Oh yeah. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl, sparkling eyes, killing tight. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl, beautiful girl. Yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money, you seen her? Hot Ice, have you seen her? LP, have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMV, baby. Look.
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace several presents and gifts. Call me Santa. Claus, I make her heartbeat.
pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me ass and culture, I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'm a go-getter. Since I'm a go-getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world, anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine, brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling night, killing tight. I found a beautiful girl.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
What is going on, Anade? Listen, let me tell you something. I legit forgot that I had set the time. Hold on 1 second. That I had set the time to 5 o'clock. Okay, I'm being honest with you. Okay, I know you believe me. I set the time. I'm thinking, you know what? Let me do 6 p.m. just to make sure there's enough cushion and I'm able to settle and before I come on live. That's what I thought I was doing. But I was like, you know what? Let me do 5 p.m. Let me do 5 p.m. We'll just be we'll start as soon as I come inside the house at 5 p.m. That's what I said to myself. But I completely forgot that I concluded that I would do 5 p.m. I did, you know. May God forgive me. Pardon me, I beg. Sorry. I did. I thought it was 6 p.m. Because honestly, even if I'm on the road and I'm running late, on my phone I can change the time. So this was completely honest, you know. But anyway, hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay. It looks like the people want me here today anyway, because again I send notifications everything the last few minutes. But shout out to D-Love and Natu, because I know on a day here. How are you guys doing? Good? Happy Friday, happy Memorial Days weekend. Thunder. I didn't forget about you. No, I didn't forget about you. I was thinking 6 p.m. So as I come settle here, I said 6 p.m. Let me just open this other screen. I said, you know what? Let me take a look at what's going on here. And then I'm looking at show time. I'm like, show what time? Oh shit, I said it's 5 p.m. But we're here, Sha. You know. But shout out to you ladies that are here right now. Do me a favor, you know what time it is. You might need to share this. Today is the day that everybody is probably watching one or other things together. Maybe they're busy. Maybe it's just the algorithms doing its thing. Who knows? But I can see that Natu and D-Love is here, and I can see the numbers showing that. So just ping by simply hitting on the like button, okay? And then we'll just showtime regardless. It's showtime regardless. Who cares, man? Even if it's just two of us here. Yeah, papa. Yeah. Let me come and relax properly, because we have some videos to review. We've got quite a few stuff to go through. Hey, Tima, good to see you. I see you. Yeah, you're the new person that came in. Okay. Basically, listen, I'm very transparent here. I have the monitor. That's one of the people you're seeing. The monitor here. I have Natu, I have D-Love, I have Tima, and that's the number you're looking at. Mama Dia Torawa, it is what it is. But nonetheless, we're gonna have a good time. Okay, I promise you, we're gonna have a good time. Good to see you, Tima. All right, so let's do this. Today we want to review this. Let's do some housekeeping quickly. Again, hit the like button as you're coming in. This is Man of Prestige. My name is Ola. I'm coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. I want to say thank you to everybody that supported us yesterday financially. Okay, ilé iṣẹ́ yín ò ní jóná o, ọwọ́ yín á máa ròkè o. Okay, ọwọ́ yín á máa ròkè o. Thank you so much. Okay, for everybody that supported yesterday, and shout out to all the members. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so over here we talk about relationships, talk about self-power, social, emotional intelligence, seduction, attraction. Those are the kind of things we talk about here. So we're bringing, you're gonna hear a lot less about victim situations. Not because we're diminishing a victim's experience, is because that's just not our focus. Our focus is the other direction. All right, so but that's what we're here to do. We talk about those kind of things. If you want a free book, this book right here, go to loveandprestige.com and download it for free. Okay, you can also access all the different versions: audio book, physical book, paper Kindle. You can access that all there. And by the way, in the link in the descriptions now, we do have a link to the merchandise. You want a t-shirt? If you see me wearing the Prestige Over Fear t-shirt, you see me wearing the GPS t-shirt, and a ton of other different types of t-shirts that my wife and I have designed over time from lolaandola.com. Go check that out. Okay, if you know where Chinya is, I beg, help me find Chinya. She's usually here too when we're just two of us. And then if you help me find Just J, help me find out too. Then Gracious Greatness, help me find him. Yeah, those people, if you know where they are. Okay, Mo Fresh is here. Shout out to Mo Fresh. Okay, hit the like button. Let's ping everybody into the room. Let's ping everybody into the room, because listen, it's gonna be a show regardless. Okay, but shout out to all those people. They're usually here. I just want to say thank you to everybody that was here yesterday, over the past few weeks, supporting. Thank you so much. All right, so today we're doing part 2. Okay, we're basically doing part 2 of Denia's Jackson, ex-wife to be of Derek Jackson. This story, they dropped the part 2. As we were doing the live session yesterday, they dropped the part 2, and the part 2 was almost 2 hours with a lot more information in it. Okay, a lot more information, a lot more revelation, I should say, in that. Let me see what's going on here. What is wrong with this thing? People ain't gonna get, Anyway, let me open it from the other side here. All right, I just want to make sure we put some face to what we're talking about really quickly. Aha, there you go. All right, good. I want to make sure we put some face to what we're talking about. That's all. Let me see. Open, share screen, and boom. There you go. All right. So that's what we're talking about. That's Denia Jackson. She's ex-wife. Make I bring you up to speed really quickly. The husband is a YouTuber, Derek Jackson. Okay, and he's basically he was finessing hundreds of thousands of women by just speaking, just saying what they want to hear, and he did that for a long time. Okay, his name is Derek Jackson, and he had his girlfriend for a long time. 9 years they were dating on and off, and then at about the 9 years mark, about 2018, she got pregnant. At the time that she got pregnant, they weren't really together. She was one of many girlfriends, according to her story that we reviewed yesterday. In fact, there were a lot of times that her and the other girls, they will pass each other in the hallway. As one person is leaving, she's coming in, and then once she got pregnant, she was like, you know what, you have to decide what you want to do, and then as soon as she said that, I think that was going to be his first, he decided, like a lot of men, not most men, like a lot of men, he decided that, hey, it's time that I settle down and start having a family. He decided to ask for her hands in marriage. And before they got married, there were a lot of ups and downs. They went to therapy. She has some traumas from the past. She went through sexual assault in the past, literally 3 weeks before they met. 3 weeks before they met. And basically she had been patching that for a long time. So but that's their story all the way up to 2018. They got married. And then they kept patching things along. They had 2 kids. In 2021, all this while, for years, he had been advising women online how to kick their men to the curb, how it's all men's fault. Whenever something goes wrong, it's always men's fault. Basically, that's basically the majority of his narrative, right? So, by the time it was 2021 or so, he got exposed by another blogger called Tasha K. He was completely exposed by Tasha K. And everybody came to discover that he was a cheater. He was cheating on this girl for a long time. Remember, they've been married since 2018. 2018 feels like yesterday to me. But the reality is that 2018 is 5 years ago. That's the reality. That's something, I don't know if you feel the same way. 2018 is, yes, So as soon as he got exposed, you're going to find out a little bit more about that video today on when he got exposed, on how they set up the PR damage control. You're going to find out a little bit more about that today. That's Derrick Jackson that you're looking at right there. That was him when they did that infamous video with the bonnet or whatever that was on her head. Whoever that is. What is that? We want to call that a beret. Right? Anyway, shout out to you, Lady Navarre. Good to see you. Welcome. Mo Fresh is here too. Good to see you. He probably married her primarily because she enabled his behavior. No, I think he wanted to get married. I really do think. I don't think he's capable of being married. Not to this lady. This lady came to the table with a lot of issues too, right? I don't think he's that guy. Like, he couldn't handle that. Everybody comes to the table with some kind of trauma, right? You have all of us will come to the table with a lot. Okay, so but I don't think he was that guy. He wasn't capable. He wasn't capable of what he put his hands in. All right, so that's that. So she did this interview, 2 parts interview with shout out to dear future wife. Okay, hold on 1 second. Just hold on 1 second, people. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Yes, everybody can still hear me loud and clear. Shout out to all 12 of you that just came in. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button as you're coming in. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, so he probably married her primarily because she enabled. We all get married with we bring all kind of garbage to the table, all of us. Okay, as a matter of fact, my argument, my story, I'm sticking to it, and I'm generalizing. Majority of us, when we say I do, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Okay, it takes actually being in it to start to figure out what you're doing. And actually, it doesn't matter what age. You could do it at 40, you could do it at 50, at 60. If you've never done it before, you don't know what. If it's your first time, you don't know what you're doing when you say I do. It's just what it is. Okay, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because life itself is it's a journey of lessons, right? It's a journey of learning, right? That's life itself. So it's not really anything about marriage. I think it's just anything in life, especially if it's worthwhile, that we're excited about something that's a part of how we were raised, how we were nurtured. Marriage is just supposed to be part of those things. You figure it out as you go, right? You learn on the job, right? So particularly what you're saying I do to, you have no idea what that is. You know it on paper, right? You're saying I do to death do us part. You're saying I do to in sickness, in health. You have no idea what that means in reality. May God forgive all of us. Let me just say that. But yes, all of us, we do that, unless you're doing it for a second time, which in that case, even the data says that second marriages, the data says they have about 75% divorce rate. Maybe that's in the US, I'm not sure, but that's basically the general data out there. Now let's get into this. So again, back to Derek Jackson. So one thing I like about the first part is that she held herself accountable quite a lot, and that was quite refreshing, because most people don't know how to do that. They just, it's always somebody else's fault but self, right? And she seemed like she was ready. She definitely was on the journey of healing, from what she sounded like, and more importantly, she seemed very authentic. Some people will throw themselves under the bus, and you can tell like they're just trying to sound a certain type of way. To me, she seemed very, very authentic in what she was saying. All right. So let me do this. We're going to be reviewing about 11 segments of Dear Future's Wife's video. Shout out to that brother for good content. We're going to be reviewing that part. All right, but I'm already dropping the link. All right, I'm dropping the link already. As a matter of fact, I should have dropped it to the general place so everybody else can see it. I'm already dropping the link. So if you want to come in and chop it up with me as I review the sessions, please come on in and let's talk about it. Okay, I did promise I was gonna do that. All right, good, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna open the video. There we go. Let's see here. Again, Friday night, relaxed, we're just going to chat, no biggie, nothing crazy. All your support is highly appreciated, always highly appreciated. Yeah, that's hard. We're ready to go, rock and roll. So today we're going to be reviewing quite a few segments. Okay, we're going to be reviewing quite a few segments. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Said some things like as it relates to scripture that he didn't like agree with and all that, and it just turned into a big thing. And
let me back that up a little bit.
There, yeah. So he had the condo it's supposed to be for business.
He had a condo that was supposed to be for business. Do you know a couple of people that have a condo in downtown? Do you know someone like that? Or you know someone that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone, right? Do you know someone like that has a condo in downtown? Where they just do it, it's just business. Or you found out, or somebody found out after the fact, right? That's all I'm going to say about that. But he said that he had a condo for business purposes, right? Let me make sure I give this brother his accolades for getting to her and coming up with this positive, very positive content, I must say. It's called Dear Future Wife. Dear Future Wife. Okay. All right, so let's get to it. Dear Future Wife. Fair use.
But he spent more nights there than he did at home. So
he spent more nights there than he did at home. Jesus.
Anyway, he ended up going back to the condo because I had said some things like as it relates to scripture that he didn't like agree with and all that, and it just turned into a big thing. And I was like, you need to be delivered. I just came, I learned.
You need to be delivered. All right, so a lot of people get into this kind of situation. Arguments in general. I keep telling you, arguments. If you end up in argument with your partner, you're a normal person, okay? But there's a difference between you're a normal person and it's 100% destructive. Let me repeat what I just said, okay? If you end up in arguments from time to time, every now and then with your partner, you're just a normal person. It's not a crime. It is what it is. You're a human being, okay? But you need to be aware also that arguments are 100. You don't really gain anything out of it outside of your creating resentment, right? Because even if you win the argument, right, the other person is now a loser, right? You're basically creating a division between you and your partner, okay? So just be aware of that. But if you do end up in argument from time to time, not from time to time, but every now and then, I should say, you're just a normal human being, but you just be aware of that, okay? And you, in particular, gentlemen, you need to know that, okay? And if you do want to avoid argument, being dismissive is not the way to go about it, right? You can simply turn off your active obsession with being right. You can just turn that off and actively listen to what she's trying to say, okay? Drink some water while you're listening, okay? Tell yourself you don't need to have an answer right now, because there's a good chance you don't have an answer right now. Just tell yourself that, right? And then you'll find out that Evan is not going to fall out of his space. Everything's going to be fine, literally, okay? But being dismissive is not the way to go about it. Let's continue.
Learned a lesson. You just can't come at somebody and be like, you need to be delivered. So I learned a lesson. You just can't come at somebody and be like, you need to be delivered.
So if you say to your husband, you need to be delivered, right? It's like, yeah, but I'm just telling the truth. Oh, okay, sure, you're telling the truth, right? But is that like a compliment or something, right? Yeah. But she learned that the hard way, I guess.
And I learned a lesson. You just can't come at somebody and be like, you need to be delivered. So I learned a lesson.
Delivered?
In that.
You said what? You learned that you can't tell somebody.
You just can't be like, hey, you need to be delivered. You got demons.
I didn't know demons.
That. So at the time.
Because you was a new Christian.
I was new.
Yeah, you was new in this thing.
I was new. I was just like, I just found out about deliverance. So this is okay to say, like, you need to be delivered. You need to be delivered. This is why. And I know 2 people that can do it. So we need to figure it out so we can go. You can get delivered. I get delivered.
So this shows up sometimes as you're a narcissist, right? You're controlling. That's a controlling behavior, right? The big terminologies, psychological terms, right? What else do we normally say, right? You're controlling. You're insecure, right? You need to be delivered, right? Listen, even if you're right, the point here is that the fruit of that name calling is not good, okay? It's not going to be the result you're looking for, right? Like even when you're right, there's a good chance you're actually exaggerating and you're not right and you're wrong. But even if you are the exception, the few times when you're right, you're still not going to create a secure man from calling him insecure, right? You're not going to deliver him by calling him you need to be delivered. You're not going to, if you say, hey, we need to go to counseling, right? There's a way to ask for that. In my opinion, I think you should go to the counseling yourself first, right? I think you should go first. I don't think you're capable. If you're in that space where you feel like you need to ask your partner for counseling, you're not capable of saying it the way that it's going to be fruitful anyway. So why not go by yourself first, so you can learn a few things before you drag them down to counseling. I'm just saying, just something to consider. Let's continue.
Everybody's happy, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that doesn't work out. Apparently, people get very upset. And not only do they get upset, they think you're crazy and you've lost your mind. So I went through that. I said that, and then I'm crazy. He said I'm crazy and all these things, and I need to get a mental evaluation. He called my mom, which is how my mom got involved. He called my mom like, hey, you need to come check on her. And
Yep.
my mom is calling me like, what's going on? And then I'm telling her all of it, because at the time I didn't tell her all of the stuff that was going on. And now I'm telling her all of it because I'm like, okay, I don't have the capacity to deal with this. I got these 2 kids. I am not crazy. He has a demon inside of me.
All right, so it becomes a back and forth, right? Hello, Tima. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Man of Prestige, how you doing?
Happy Friday to you. How you doing?
I'm good. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. This is your topic. You follow these people, right?
Sir, no, I don't follow them actually.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
follow them, but I'm aware of their situation.
Oh, you're aware. Okay. Did you follow the stories since he got exposed?
From the first time or right now?
I'm going to let you in.
Since he got exposed, the first time, I guess.
Yeah, I think briefly I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I kind of have idea of who the husband is, and
Derek
you know,
Jackson.
I get to see her with the Bonnet interview. I think that was the first time I saw them to get to know who the husband is actually from that Bonnet video thing. It's
Right,
ridiculous.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the first segment that we just covered? When you say you need to be delivered. Yeah, narcissist. You're
So
crazy.
you know it. Oh my God, it is very common for people who are going through it. When you are going through it, your mind is working against you because the only thing you are thinking is the other person.
Right.
The like you are not. So when you are going through it, you are not thinking of the contribution that you are making within that relation, that your own contribution in that relationship. At a time, it never feel that way.
Yeah.
What usually happens is you are thinking of that person, so it's very easy at that time because you are being you are in a very tough space of emotional control situation in a
Right.
bad way, that is kind of cover your own trauma that you have within yourself.
Yeah.
And in a way, eventually, of course, you will get to, hopefully when you get help, it will take you to the point where you get to see yourself like, oh, me, even myself, I carry a lot of things. So to call him a narcissist, I'm not surprised because I call mine
Or call
same
name, just calling them names when you're in that
name
space.
generally. Yeah. It's I think at the time it's like a kind of a coping mechanism. You know, so that, you know, I'm gonna keep pointing my finger to you because you really doing me wrong.
Right.
Which is true.
You get caught
It's
up in
doing
your
her wrong.
emotions.
Yes. But you know, you are not, it's like, but that time you lost it. You are not in control of emotion at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a natural, again, it's just like what I said about argument. Is you're a normal person if you end up doing this when you're caught up in that space. But you should just be aware now, since you're here now, that nothing good is going to come out of that by itself, because it feels like an attack on the other end, right? Because
It is an attack.
It is an attack. So if it is an attack on the other end, the natural thing they will do is defend themselves. And when they defend themselves, it feels like an attack on your end. So it becomes a
Yes.
both, right?
It's like a breaking down that need to happen before you can build up again.
Right.
In some situation, you need that breaking like to the floor, and then hopefully, if you are able to come out of that, then you rebuild yourself to your own better person, and then you get to see the bigger picture of, I mean, really, we are both the participants in the destruction of it all.
Right. So this was you just mentioned this video from about it's now about 2 years ago. Can you believe it? It's now about 2 years ago. I think just to bring people up to speed, I think it's necessary that we'll play the video, and then we'll continue the review of the part 2 of that interview yesterday. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm just gonna play it right now. Let's see.
Derek Jackson here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Danae.
And we just wanted to address a couple of things. You know, we understand that some of you may have already heard, maybe not, that this chapter of our marriage is...
So this is the video that they did to do damage control after he got exposed for cheating. But according to the story, the wife confirmed that yesterday. She's already found out at this point they were actually going through healing, and she was actually 8 weeks pregnant here, and she didn't know at this point in time.
Let me tell you what I feel like in the public scale. So the wife is in it. And I'm speaking from my own experience. We already know who we're dealing with. Okay.
Right.
The worst that can happen in that situation is now you're on a public. I won't even know what that can feel like to be on a public forum while you are trying to hang on to this person. There is this unhealthy attachment that you feel like at a time, like, you know, you're gonna make it work no matter what, and there's this outside noise that is very conflicting to what you are trying to do.
Right.
So I cannot even imagine. So whatever.
So there were a couple of things that was going on in this moment. Few days before that, he just got exposed. Like, she knew before, but the exposure is another level, like you're saying, right? And then there was also somebody passed away in their family. They just came back from a wake, right? So from a funeral, that also happened, and she just found out that she's pregnant.
She's pregnant again,
and the previous 2 babies that she had, she went through severe postpartums. So
yes, I did too. I went through
postpartum. There's a lot going on, right? There's just a lot going on.
I mean, so that kind of explain all the craziness that the outward reaction that she was having.
Which craziness are you talking about? You talking about this one right here? This one?
Well, yeah. Which one was that? I don't really. The one that was.
Listen to this one. This is the last one.
Yes. The names Danae Jackson and Derek Jackson in mockery, accusations, slanders, and lies.
You are covered by the blood of Jesus. You're listening to
God
this.
be withdrawn from you. May your husbands and wives become widows. Let your children become fatherless. Let your seed become vagabonds on the earth.
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thanks for clicking on this.
Jesus.
Yeah, all of that. All of that.
Yeah, she went crazy. Yeah. So let's play this a little bit again. Okay, so she's nodding a little bit. She got a little smirk on her face, but we all could tell it was fake at that time. And then she now confessed in the video yesterday that during this time he showed some videos. He showed videos of Kobe Bryant when the wife, what's her name again, Vanessa Bryant, was supportive of him, and they came because of the allegations that were against Kobe Bryant back there. That they came to the public. I guess they came to the public. He showed the video first before they did this video. He showed the video. You see how she's doing, and she's rubbing their hands, and she's supportive. And she was like, "Wait, I'm not an actress. I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm just gonna sit down and look."
So dealing with anyone like Jackson, Derek Jackson, you would never get what you want from them. As a matter of fact, you will get the opposite of what you are looking for. It's as basic. You won't know that at a time, because you're just looking at this another human being like you. Like, why is it so difficult for you to give me what I want? So having said that, there is a control on the other side of like my side. There's a control on my part, because I'm looking at him like, you are not an idiot.
Yeah.
But again, I can't let go of the control, the unhealthy attachment that's already built up over time. Because remember, this is not a day old. This is a longest time relationship. That's the preparation of manipulation that already existed before the marriage and during the marriage, and it was continuous even during the marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you will never get what you want from them, because of the manipulation that is existing in the marriage, even though you feel like you might not even know that.
Did you watch our session yesterday? Did you get a chance to watch?
I watched the one that you posted with
Oh, you watched that one? Okay, the 1 hour,
that
the
we
1 hour
talked.
segment. Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
I
you
think
watched
so.
that
Yeah, I
one.
watched that one.
Okay. All right, let's continue. Let's continue with this one here. Just to bring us up to speed what we're dealing with. This was the video, the manipulative video that he staged to like tell everybody that we're working on our marriage. Just want you to hear where they're coming from. This was about 2 years ago. I think she said 2021 October or something like that. No, maybe earlier,
August, maybe September of last year. But, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true, some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out. Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now. Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm, married to you guys. First and foremost, I'm accountable to God. Then
Okay.
I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation. I've already told her literally everything. I've given her basically a roll call list. If I've said hello to a woman in the last 12 years of me knowing her, she knows about it. But now that it's been made so public, it's important that I first off let you guys know I do not stand by those actions. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. And then secondly, I know that I cannot build a platform preaching certain things, preaching against certain things, and then in my real life live contrary to that for any amount of time or any length of time to any extent and think that I can't be held accountable. The same way that I preach that, men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jackson's no exemption. He's not exempt from that. I'm also not a victim. Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend.
Is this accountability?
With trauma, whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions that I got to account for. There's no excuse or justification. I've already made that bet and have had to lie in it. And now we're finally getting on to the other side, personally, in our own healing, in our own marital oneness. And now this is being made public to you guys, so we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Of course not.
Yes. So.
Oh, she's gonna say something.
Want to just add that
This was the first time anybody will hear her voice.
Yes.
For bringing other women into our marriage on any level, and it was unacceptable, and it's not something that I tolerate or that we tolerate moving forward. And when I've been flooded again with messages and these things and about, I need to leave or why haven't I left? And the answer is, when I found out about it, I left. I did not hesitate or waste time to do so. And I stayed gone. No matter how many times he came, I stayed gone and stood firm on, I am not coming back. And I did not come back until I seen a shift and a change in his mentality and how he carried himself and how he presented himself and conversations that we were able to have that we had never been able to have in just 12 years of knowing each other. And when we were able to have these dialogues, said,
Okay, you done?
this is
All right.
something that you've had your hand on, and this was with me being completely removed. It was like, and him pursuing God, continuing to pursue God, and continuing to eliminate these things that led up to the catastrophe that you guys are seeing for the first time. So there's nothing out there right now that is information that I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek guidance and wise counsel from men of God. And that is what I needed for the continuation of me being present in this marriage and to stand by his side. So today, where I'm at is grace, and I proudly stand by his side, and I have no hesitation, I have no hurt, no shame about that. And it's only because of the grace of God and the mercy of God. And we have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you all. And I forgave him, and most importantly, God has first forgiven him, and I also forgive the others as well. And with that, we are free and moving forward. So
all right, well, they're free, huh?
And I get it. Some of y'all, like, this may come as a huge shock, probably a huge disappointment. I let a lot of you down. You know, if you've had a perspective shift on who Derek is, hopefully it's away from anything remotely close to perfection, and it's simply that, you know, I am a human, and that does not justify anything that I did. But I don't want anybody out there to be putting me on a pedestal. If you did, and I hate that you did that, maybe I gave you cause for that, and I apologize if I did. For those who are saying, Derek, I don't want to ever listen to you again, it's totally understandable. I appreciate you while I had your support and helping me get the message out about healing and healthy relationships. There's so many people who
Manifest.
myself included. And for those who are going to continue to support,
Oh my God.
because I know it's not going to be easy.
He was trying now.
For a little while so many times.
Man, you good.
But for everybody out there, if you get nothing else from what I've ever said over the last 9 years or right here in this video, please get this. Nothing is right until it is right with God. Nothing works until it comes into alignment with biblical standard of how God told us to do things, especially when we're talking about a marital, spiritual covenant. You know, you cannot do this by your own understanding, your own intelligence, your own willpower, your own values. You have to have the grace of God to break free from certain things, to stay away from certain things, to not operate from your lowest self, whatever it may be. And it's because it's really only by God's grace that we're even able to be here on this video, holding hands. Well, like years ago, 7 years ago even, I couldn't see this happening. I thought it was
The grace of
over,
God.
to establish my relationship with God, but that's the fruit of bringing things in alignment with God. And the mess that's been made, the mess that's now being made public from last year and years past, that's a result of getting out of alignment with doing things God's way. So that's where I stand. That's where we stand. And again, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon.
All right. In reality, I mean, we would hope that not reality, ideally, we will hope that worked, right? Like, just get people off their back and, get them. Can you hear me? By anyway, let me make sure.
I can hear you. Man of let me tell you this. Hold
on that thought really quickly, right? Let me just bring people up to speed really quickly. After that, right, I was saying ideally we hope that would have worked, right? After that, this came out, this right here that you're looking at, and it completely got exposed. It was out in Miami hanging out with some chicks, and this got exposed after that particular event. And then more recently, just wanted to bring people up to speed. More recently, he released this picture with a caption saying they've decided to go their separate ways. Okay, and that was in I think they said that was in September, October last year. And the first thing we're hearing from them since then, I think there may have been one thing in between. I'm not sure at the timeline. But it's this interview that we're reviewing today. So go ahead and tell me what you wanted to say. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say that, these are the two individual people that are living in two different realities. Even though they are a couple, their reality is so far apart. It's like a sky to the earth. So what I mean, that particular interview is Jackson is the husband is fighting for the bag. The wife
for the bag.
Is fighting,
you said for the bag, their money.
Yes, for the bag, the money. The money. And the wife is genuinely fighting for the marriage. You see? Those are two different things. That's not the same.
That's division.
There's no alignment in that.
Yeah.
And the girl is so I'm guessing like that handheld that he was hanging on to her hand like he was hanging on to his dear life. Probably is the
Mm.
longest handheld she ever get from him emotionally.
Right. Right.
You know.
You know, we're going to review quite a bit today. What I want us to do is let's get into the second video. I think we've kind of brought people up to speed right there. Let's get into that, and then you and I will talk about it together. This one says, "I became a shell of myself. I knew her body more than I knew my own body." So, and I think she was talking about some of the side chicks and stuff like that. Let's get back.
Like I said, I've been in environments where I've walked in and seen stuff that I didn't want to see. So what did that do to you?
I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where it's like, I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. And I spent a lot of time, like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me. And
Hey Mac users, have you noticed your MacBook's getting a little slow?
the low point to be, and I'm tearing up a little bit because I hate that I even got to a point where that was a thing, but that it was just that. And so I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. I completely lost myself. I became a shell of myself. I tried to imitate their hair, their actions, even sexual things that I had seen him doing with them. I tried to recreate that in our life when we were engaged, and none of it amounted to anything. And so I just became more like depressed, more withdrawn, because it's like I can't share this with him because then he's gonna leave, right? Because I'm still operating off of that abandonment and all of that. And so it's so crushing, and there's not really words to put like what happens to you when you see that. And you don't just see it one time, but you see it multiple times, and you see it multiple times over years, what that does. And then you compound onto that rape trauma, you compound onto that daddy issue.
What are your thoughts about this, Tima? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Did
So
you hear that?
yeah, I heard everything that she said.
Mm-hmm.
That is very common to a lot of women that go through what she went through. Because again, this is over time, the building up of an individual. Like he built her up according to how he want to see her, and it's very believable when you are in it. Do you understand? So the idea of you living in your own shadow it's so real.
Becoming a shell of herself.
Oh yes, that thing is like you don't even know yourself no more. You can't trust anything about you. You just want to satisfy this person, and then interpretation of that would be like you are trying to pour everything you have in an empty stomach. I mean, empty basket. You know what I mean? Like say everything you have, everything goodness in you is water, and you are pouring that into this person who is a basket. You can
Is she
imagine.
trying to give what she doesn't have?
I think she has some. I mean, like, she has whatever she has. It was never enough. I think she has
Let me
something.
ask you like this: what part of this is she responsible for, in your opinion, as a woman?
So, as a woman, it's like you won't know what it is until you are in it. Number one. Number two is like, it's like sometimes you are not aware of your own trauma that you suffered. Like you are not even aware of it. Like even though you know that there are some things that happen to you, but it's not manifesting in a way because it was just you are by yourself and you kept it in and all that until you meet this person who is doing day and night job to bring the worst in you. Until then you realize the amount of trauma you yourself have kept within yourself. And I think it takes time to realize that because, again, you are not aware of your own trauma. So you are thinking all this time that is this person making me, doing all these things to me until you reach that rock bottom and you find your way out of it. Hopefully, then you realize the part that you play. Of course, once your responsibility to be able to take that responsibility will come from your own healing. Until you start that healing process, you can't hear anything.
What you're saying is that she's not aware of she's not aware of the trauma she brings. She's only going to be aware of healing efforts. That's what I'm hearing you say.
There are things that happen to her. She knows that, like the rape and whatever, all of those things happen to her, right? She knows that, but she didn't know at the time the effect of that in her own life. And imagine to kind of just tuck that in away somewhere, and then you marry to Derek Jackson, a person. So you it's like you put kerosene on yourself. Now you are sleeping with fire. So of course, he's gonna bring that worst in you. And the good thing about that process is eventually it kind of help her to kind of get to the place where she can actually look into herself through. Remember, she got a lot of help for her to get there. It's not something that happened overnight. He went, like he said, she was juggling 3 therapies. I was juggling 2 therapies.
Right, but that's the healing process right now. Before they even got. Okay, so they were dating on and off for 9 years. She got pregnant. She gave an ultimatum. The ultimatum does not make Derek Jackson a victim. He decided that, you know what? It's about time. It's okay if I settle down with one of my girls. Acknowledged by her. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was an active participant. Is that what she said? She was participating in that back and forth and on and off they were doing, right? So, but she gave an ultimatum, which I don't blame her for, because again, once you are 28, 29, 30, if you're messing with a man on an ongoing basis, on and off basis for the past 9 years, I do think you should say, hey, I don't know what you want to do, but I don't have another 7 years to give. This is precisely what she said. And then he settled. He said, not settled for less, but settled down, right? And he decided that, hey, let me speak to her mother. Then he spoke to the mother, and then asked for her hands in marriage. They went through therapy. They did premarital counseling, which was chaotic, but they got married, right? So what I'm trying to get at is that, is she responsible for anything? For those of us that watch the podcast, right? She's responsible, but I'm asking your opinion. Is she responsible for, at least partly, for where she found herself?
Absolutely, she is, because again, she's an individual of her own, right? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if we can fault her for she wasn't aware of the person that you are,
and sometimes of the weight of the trauma, right?
Yeah, of the trauma. Yeah, thank you. She did not understand the weight of that trauma that she suffered, and a lot of people sit in that space, even though something happened to you at one point in your life. You did not understand the weight of what that did internally in a
Right.
visceral way. You know
Right.
what I mean? So until you, so it's not only what you do, how you do it. It is so important of who you're doing it with, who you're doing it with, because who you're doing it with is going to determine whether or not. Because she could have met somebody who is not Jackson, and you can meet a total gentleman who could have helped her to somehow still figure out the trauma and then heal from there without going through everything that she went through with Jackson. You see what I mean? So it's so important, like who you doing this life with.
Right. Right.
That is, because I like to believe that everybody, we all have trauma here and there, no matter how big or how little.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm agreeing with you, because again, and I think it's unrealistic to expect human beings that are just coming into life as an adult to know the weight of their trauma, or to even be aware at all that they have trauma. I think it's unrealistic to ask anybody under 25 to be aware that they have trauma. It's just unrealistic. We don't, we're just living life. We don't know the effect of certain events that happen in our lives. We don't know exactly what it means. But
How it's
that's
gonna show up.
how it's going to show up. But those things, when you're put in a position that triggers those things, they will come to the surface, and marriage happens to be one of those things. I don't think Derek Jackson in particular, this part I would disagree with you. I think marriage in particular, being in a space with another human being that comes from another background entirely, I think that would trigger those things. And the prayer is that hopefully you see it all the way through to healing, right? I do think that. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you. So, like, I agree that marriage, even in the normal circumstances,
Yes.
and of course, these are two different people coming together to make a home, right?
Yes.
But when we are talking of the union of two people, we have to. Someone like Jackson is not someone like you, or I'm not. I don't know you, man of prestige, right? But
I know
I
what you
like to
mean.
think.
I know
You know
you
what I mean? Like, so there's a level to that emotional intelligence of a man who is bringing a woman into his house.
Right.
So you talk of a union of two people. The role of the man in that union is going to determine what the level of emotional intelligence that already exists, or he was willing to learn as he goes, to make sure that, and I mean both of them actually, to make sure that whatever happened in that marriage, they are willing to work it out, and there's no manipulation involved. There is no breaking down. There's no all of those things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I make sense.
No, you make sense. You make sense. I'll tell you like this, all right? The me that you know today, obviously I've been consistent, at least on this platform, for almost a year now, right? And there's only so much I can pretend, even if I'm pretending. So, but that's me that you know right now. I did not fall out of the skies. I don't think they are born people like quote unquote me, which I am not perfect. I don't think men are born that way. I think men are made eventually into that, if they allow themselves, if they are open, right? If they are open-minded. But I think most men come. Men have to be made, particularly the kind of man that's capable of maintaining a household, maintaining sexual polarity. I think men are not made to naturally be able to do that. Men have to be made, like be groomed to become that. You see what I'm saying? And it's quite a difficult task, because men are men, and especially if they are men of a certain age, they know what they know, and there's a lot of coconut headness that comes into that. There's pride involved in that. Like men tend to gravitate towards the idea of common sense as a guide to life, and I always say common sense is a terrible guide to life anyway. So you can imagine a man, a very smart man who does well in his own right, has good salary, has good job, he can put one to one together. He understands when he's 11, he understands when he's 2. When it comes to pragmatic standpoint, he understands that. But when it comes to understanding a romantic partner's emotion, that's a different ball game altogether. When it comes to a place where you're now asking him to be your therapist for the trauma that you bring to the table. I'm not sure how realistic that is today, to ask men to be that.
No, it's not realistic.
Yeah,
It
because
is not
that's
realistic.
that's
It is not.
literally what it is, right? We're asking the man to be able to contain a woman who is dealing with the trauma of sexual assault, a woman who was an active participant, who was participating in on and off relationship, knowing that he had multiples of them. She was just one of them, right? And for him to suddenly now start to understand how you react to certain things, I think it's doable. But with the way men move these days, some of the things I see them say, especially in the internet space, I'm like, damn, it's bad. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Right. I mean, it's you know what? It's not realistic. But again, when you are in the midst of it, you can't hear anything really. Like you gone emotionally. You are.
Does it get the same
you are
pass?
trying to.
Does it get the same pass? As in, like, he doesn't know either, just like she doesn't know.
I know. I can't speak for that. I'm a woman. I'm not a man. I don't know. I'm speaking from my own experience. From my own experience.
I see. Yeah. I'm not gonna give him that pass because men don't have the luxury of getting passes. We just don't. So I'm not gonna give him that pass. Whatever result is created today, he deserves it. That's what he's earned, because a man must earn everything he gets in life. And if he lost his family, it is what it is. He's better off seeing it as I earned it, so he can actually do better. If I pat him on the back and say, it is not your fault, go collect it, because the reality is that that's just not life for men, And I'm not saying women get passes like that also, but she was older. They were in the same class. They were in college in the same class. She was older. She was his tutor. She was literally his tutor in school, in college. So we're getting into that space that we have to start looking at things closer, a little bit closer than the typical, right? So she wasn't manipulative. They were just young 19-year-old. They didn't know what they didn't know. And they got into a situation. And in our society where men can get away with a lot of atrocities when it comes to transgressions, I would have to agree with you that she had no idea what she was getting into. But there were a lot of things that she said on yesterday that made me feel like, okay, she was actively manipulating. She narrated 2 stories where she was manipulating him, where she was trying to make it seem like she was cheating on him. All right, I don't know if you caught that part.
Yeah, let me tell. So on her part, from my own, if my phone is doing funny, I'm gonna be really mad, because it seems like, I hope not. But like on my part, because it seems like it started to doing that. But on my part, like, so for someone like me that attracted to men like that, right? There's a control issue on my part that kind of make me just don't want to see the reality for what it is, even during the dating phase and even the beginning of because it's there. You cannot just you can't really put your finger on it. It's kind of really vague.
But there's something there is vague, but you ignored it.
But it's there. It's there. So there's a control part of that on my part. Right. That I just want to fix it. I just want to make it work. I mean, why? So that in itself is a trauma that you might not even know that you had until, because you just keep going. I'm going to fix it. It's going to be okay. I will do whatever it takes. And then you are mad. You are really upset about everything that he's doing, but still you refuse to let go.
Yes.
That responsibility lies on me. because even though I knew, I refused to let go.
Right.
That's the control of me that I had to work on to say, you know what, this is not healthy. That
I
is not
think
healthy.
I'll say this. I think men like me and men like Derek Jackson, I'm not the same as him, by the way, but in terms of we tend to come up with content and create content around this kind of topic, I think we have the same syndrome. Um, and it takes a lot of humility to say, hey, I can't fix a human being. I can't, if somebody has trauma from where they're coming from, they need to seek healing before we move an inch forward. We need to make sure that they go through
We're Closet Factory.
the necessary healings possible, go through counseling, go through therapy that they need before we move forward. I think what you just said, he might have also had that, like, we got this. We understand how human beings work. So basically trying to act like a macho man. And it got to a place, you're going to find out today in some of these sessions I'm going to review, right? That he was a guy who thought he could, like, I got this. This, what is there? It's just how, and the truth is that when we are inside of the situation, we're not as capable as our mouth is when I'm running a man of prestige. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If I'm dealing with my wife right now and we're in an argument, you will see the weakest part. You will see a weak part of me that you just don't see when my wisdom antennas are all on and I'm creating content here, right? When you are inside of it, you're not capable like that, and that's something that I'm glad you said that, because again, for someone like you, a part of you like, I like him, he likes me, what is there? We can talk anything out, we can
Yeah,
it's a bad idea.
it's a big realization that I had to it's part of thing that I had to forgive myself for, because
Right. You were trying to fix a human being.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, I was gonna do whatever it takes, because this is my life, this is my marriage,
Yeah.
whatever it was too much.
Right. Okay. I think she was 5 months older than. Did I miss that part? I thought she was 5 months older than her. No. She was 5 months older than him. That's what I remember. Maybe I missed that.
Really?
I'm not sure.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the tutor was a classmate. You're absolutely correct about that. They were classmates. They were in the same class. I remember that part. But I think she was older. But it didn't matter. Like you're saying, it doesn't matter. They're the same age essentially, right? But
Yeah, pretty much.
But if you understand how the man brain work at 19 and the woman brain, that man is about 5 years behind in the way he handles relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
The
The same
maturity.
age. Yeah, he's 15, 14, and she's 19. On paper, in reality, they are both the same age. I don't know if you know what I mean. I don't know how to explain that, but when we'll get to not to have fun now.
We have different maturity
I think my
scale,
people are the yellow.
male and female. Hey, Nato. Right?
Well,
We
why
have
you
different
saying it like
maturity
this is
scale.
kind of like Gabriel Union and Dwayne Wade age gap. She's not like that much older than him.
No. It's not that much. Like I said, it doesn't even matter. They're the same age in reality, but the way a young man, especially at that age,
Wired.
he's literally 14 in his head. If she's
You know, in his
actually
situation,
19.
in his case, right? Have you ever seen a doctor that doctors, all these medical practitioners are always the ones scared of going to the hospital, and they're the
Right.
ones always telling you,
Yes.
you're not going to the hospital, you're not treating yourself, blah blah blah.
Yes.
So that was his own situation. You understand what I'm saying? So he felt like he could fix it. He doesn't need to go to anyone. Like, we got this. In the conversation, there was a place where she said that they started the premarital counseling and they didn't finish it. Did you hear that part?
Yeah, I heard that part. They
Right.
never finished it.
So-
That's what I said it earlier. I said the premarital counselor was chaos.
Exactly. So it was that feeling of like, oh, nobody can. This is what I do for a living. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't need to tell me I know all of these things. But you forget. I had an uncle that passed because he didn't go to. He was a consultant, like a badass doctor, but he cried in his room because he wouldn't go to the hospital, he wouldn't take medication. The same person that gives us injection. You understand?
Right.
And I also feel like for their marriage, right? Because there's this pattern going on with people now that you see, and I'm not generalizing, I've seen a couple, not everyone. But few people, like some people go with what is convenient for them.
Right. I think we all do
So
that, don't we?
yeah, I mean, yes, but they aside that,
Mm-hmm.
you want to be with somebody that you are attracted to and you love. There are some things that you don't want to be with in the house with somebody that you always feel that the person is irritating you. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you're going for convenience, it's extra. Like that love has to be there, that likeness has to be there. You want to
Attraction.
understand that
You have
exactly.
to be attracted to people. You have to like the person. You have
But
to be
I'm
attracted to
saying
them.
this to you because I'm from the north. And we have a lot of girls that will just end up marrying men that are like their father's age mate because the person
Right.
is rich and they don't want
Right.
to suffer. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so I feel like this is what he wanted. He wanted a lifestyle that he wanted to keep, and
Right.
that's like having more than one partner to sleep with. And then what he found out from the time that he has known her was that she was enabling it. So he was like, okay, out of all of these women, who would be the person that will be the trophy wife and not complain when I'm doing this? So now, until she got the ring and she got in the house and she
She
realized
got
that
picked.
I don't think this is what I want to condone.
Right.
But
Right.
the whole time
Do
you
me
were
do me a
condoning it,
favor
and that's
not
why he
to.
picked you.
Do me a favor not to. Your sound comes with a lot of echo, right? And I
Oh, it
think
does?
it's your. I
I have
think
an
it's your.
earpiece.
Yeah, it's your Bluetooth. It's your same Bluetooth that you use all the time. I told you to lose it, but you won't lose it. There
Let's see.
was a day like that you called in directly with your phone and it was crystal clear. Maybe for this show, henceforth, make sure you have your regular, what do you call it? You plug in a plugged in
Is it
earpiece or
better?
something. Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
It's better, but
So,
it's still. I know it's still not your direct phone. I could tell.
no, it is my phone. I just put it on speaker.
Oh, you put on speaker. Okay, all right.
Ola, what are you
Uh,
trying to what are you
I'm
trying to
just.
snatch it to do?
I want to make sure people have good audio experience. But yeah, so not to stay right there. Let me play this next segment and let's talk about it. Okay.
All right, no problem.
All right. Good. Hold on, let's see.
The 11 women that he had.
In 2021, was you blindsided?
This segment is about he confessed to 11 women. Let's go.
About it.
No, because he had already confessed to the 11 women that he had been with, which the two that were on there, or the three that were on there, had already been on his list of people that he gave me. And we had already been working on dealing with it and all of that. And so that information wasn't new, but what happens is that, it uncovers that wound all over again, right?
All right.
Not only on a private level, but now on a public level.
All right. So she's talking about when this video happened, right? She said by this time she already knew about the 11 women. They already walked through it. But what happens when there's a blowout and there's a big old exposure to the public? And that's what she's talking about right now. All right, let's keep going real quickly for a little bit more.
So now it's like open wound all over again. And then at that time, just 2 days before that, we found out we were expecting our third child. Literally the day it was released on that platform, we were at his stepfather's wake. And so we're dealing with grief, we're dealing with expecting our next child, and now we're dealing with this all at the same time. And then it's like that following Monday, we're on camera, and I'm like, it's a helmet of salvation. Yes, this is what's needed right now. That's all I got. Christ. Right? All I know is it's a spiritual attack. Helmet of salvation. That's all I got. It's protect your mind. Right now, my mind is being attacked, and I need something better than therapy.
You know what? A lot of people don't understand this too.
All right, let's talk about that really quickly. Thoughts? Natu, let's go with you first. Uh-oh.
I'll tell
All
I
right,
was gonna
you
say
go
that
first.
I'm here.
Okay,
What you
she
say?
said.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Natu.
So it was just a lot for her at that time. 1, 2, I feel like she just want to still keep that title as a wife. So she decided to go for anything. But in the beginning, like you were talking about manipulation, I want to feel like she kind of like pushed him into marrying her. And then he understood that she's someone that can condone his own, all the shenanigans that he's doing. And then he went with it. But at this time, he kind of blamed her because he was going for the bag. Like, oh, all this life that we have, this platform that we have, if we come out together and speak and people see you speak standing by me, it's gonna help the brand, da 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 da. And like she was always saying in the interview, like, we have this lifestyle, we're living in a mansion. So you want to maintain the mansion. You understand what I'm saying? And this situation usually come when you don't have a life.
9,000 square foot.
Exactly. So you have to do this now because you need to stick by him because you want to maintain that lifestyle because you don't have anything attached to your name because you're a housewife. So I feel like he kind of like cornered her into doing that, making her look like, okay, if you don't do it, you're the bad person. And she's here now. And if you look at her interview, you understand, like, even from the beginning, she's very, very naive. That's why she was doing that thing with somebody saying that the person should act like he's dating her just to spite him. If someone is not naive and does not have like self-esteem issue, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You just need to ghost the person, and the person's gonna like figure out like you're good without them, and they start looking for you. But you having to do that to make them feel the pain you're feeling, you will know that she I don't even know the right word to use. But I'll let you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mbasi.
No, I was going to say that for me, I think it's more than whatever they have. So you have to remember, she was 19, he was whatever. They are both 19 when they met.
They're both 19.
There's a lot of there are a lot of time and energy that already put into the relationship even before marriage on the side of the Nia.
9 years.
The Nia. Right.
Yeah.
So waiting and hoping like she will get picked, and she finally get picked. That is something to her. So it looks to me like she's the only person in that marriage that is just hanging on and want to make it work. Jackson have varieties, and he has options everywhere. And she knows it. So she want to be known. Like, I don't want all my work of these years just go into the drain. So she's willing to do whatever it takes that she need to do because she thought that she's in love with him. And I think what actually going on then was there was this trauma bonding that they were having, and there is this unhealthy attachment that she already established with him. It's very hard to let go of those things.
Right. I think so too. And it's very important to, again, I keep saying it, where well, not him, because he's an American man, but for me, I'm a second generation monogamist, right? So our society still quite tolerate the idea of a polygamist or polygamy behavior from a man. And but yet a man wants to settle at some point. So oftentimes what you will have, okay, I don't want to mess it up for anyone, oftentimes what you will have when a man says yes, sure, let's settle down, it's a man that's going to slowly phase out of it over time, out of having multiple, especially if he's a good looking man, he's used to having a lot of women around him. He's also a public figure. Literally, his audience are women, right? So a lot of women will basically do anything to be with him, right? So when you consider that, I don't want to discount that it was actually ready to settle down. There's a ready and there's ready, right? There's ready that, no, I would like that, to settle with this woman. I could see her being with her for a long time, being the mother of my kids, but I'm not really ready in terms of capability, right, of being monogamous, right? So there's ready and there's ready. There's ready for no, I would like that from a desire standpoint. Like, I'm of age, I'm 29, I'm 30. I think it might have been, because right now I think they are 33. This was about when they were 28.
Don't forget that nobody knew his wife until this video.
She said she also said she was happy with that, right? She's not she was behind the camera. She was happy with that life, right? So women like her tend to be happy with that. They, people like us tend to be with people that don't necessarily want. My wife is the same way. She doesn't necessarily want to be in front of camera.
I don't think I don't think she's necessarily happy to be behind the camera. I think behind the camera is a comfort zone for her, because she knows having to share a public arena with him is not gonna bring her the joy that she wanted. So she kind of just secluded herself into that comfort zone of behind the camera. Let me tell you, that bonnet video thing, the where he finally brought her out, I think it's an highlight in her mind that things are about to change for better. I'm not lying.
You think so?
Moment.
You are correct. Yeah, and she said it too. She
For
said
real.
it too.
No, I think she doesn't know what she's getting into. let me share
That's
that
why I
with
think
you.
she's naive. That's her naive mind. That's what she was thinking, but that's not what it was.
Yeah, she doesn't want in front of the camera. Not only does she not want in front of the camera, she's not going to be able to keep up. It's a lot of work that goes to being in front of the camera. It's a lot. It's not as simple as let me just come and shine. There's a lot of passion work that goes on behind the scenes that you don't get paid for, literally, right? To put on a show like
No,
this.
I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about her sharing his work in front of the camera. I mean the acknowledgement of him to say, and boldly to say, this is my wife.
to say I have.
this and that.
All right.
Right.
So again, I don't know if you guys saw
Not
the
to
second
share the
part.
work.
No, I get it. I don't know, not to share the work, so it's just the reward. Okay, but let me go back to. let me go
I mean,
back.
she's working behind the scene. Remember?
See when a woman like we're trying to dissect it, right? There's a lot going. Let's just first of all acknowledge there's a lot going on there that we don't know, right? But we have enough that we can talk about, right? She said she was behind the scene, and she was happy to do that, and she didn't mind that people didn't know her. However, once she showed up at events, they had like an event or something like that, and there were inappropriate people that try to touch and stuff like that. They touch him, like women, ladies, Oberyn. You get comfortable once you're a fan of somebody, and and she's at the event, and she's like, and she started to fight at some of the events. Like, no, like that's inappropriate to touch him in that space or anything like that, or because because they get carried away. This is Derek Jackson, right? And she started to find that. So the fact that emotion is triggered doesn't mean she still wants to be in front of camera. She might think she wants to be in front of camera until she find out how much work that goes. She's gonna find out right now, because now she's doing a healing school thing and she's trying to create content. She's gonna find out very quickly that trying to do something that you have no passion about is not exactly the business, right? She's gonna find out very quickly, unless she's able to pay them. And she's also said something to the effect that, again, I was trying to say, hey, these are two people that just didn't know what they were doing. They're not capable of doing what they got themselves into, right? He actually fought a whole 8 months to get her back. She actually left. Did you guys miss that part of the story? She left with the kids. Drove 20 hours across the nation to go away from him. Before they landed in, I think she said Colorado or Arizona somewhere. I'm not sure, right?
It's one of those countries
on the west, right? Before they landed, before her and her mother got there, he was already there waiting for them, because he flew down there, right?
Ola, let me tell you something.
Wait. Obviously, his kids are involved, right? Obviously, he was already married to this woman, right? And he, that's my family. Like, of course I'm gonna fight. And then he went into this spiritual healing thing with her for like 8 months, trying to. I think Derek Jackson himself is a man who was struggling, is my point. Go ahead.
I agree with you, the last part of it. Like, of course, he's struggling. You know what I mean? I would not take that from him. But let me tell you, the relationship is a cycle of a toxicity that involve a lot of manipulations and just egocentric of a person who just want to have his cake and eat it too. Okay? So the fact that he went through all of that he went through to get her back, That is a cycle of the toxicity that comes with when you're dealing with someone like Jackson.
Right. So I'm not saying that he deserves candy or he was being a good man in the spirit of that. I'm just saying he wasn't just a guy who just didn't care. It was a man who was struggling. He was struggling with something. It wasn't like he just woke up and said one day, this is one of 11 chicks. I think at this point, since 2018, I think he continued his lifestyle of having multiple women, but he struggled with what it takes to be in a marriage. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell you about the list. In my situation, right? I made that list, and I think I made that comment on one of your posts. I made that list, and I had to stop when I got to 25.
List of what? Of women?
Yes, sir.
Well, he's the one making this list. Does that count for something? She didn't make the list.
No, I made it. No, he did it. I made it.
I know. But I'm saying in this case, he's the one making the list, and the list has not ended yet. In fact, since you mentioned that about the list, I want us to get this right before you. Don't forget we have to talk about the list, okay? Don't forget. There's more. There's more to this. I'm gonna play the next segment, and then we'll talk about it. But as far as the list is concerned, we're not done with that yet. Let's go. Hold on 1 second.
Hair like that. Why she look like? Why? And now they're picking you apart, giving him an excuse. Oh, we got to rebuke people who do that. Giving people an excuse, a married man an excuse. Well, I see why he cheated on her then. Look what she looked like. She probably was the type of woman that didn't keep herself up. No one knew that you were pregnant at that time. No one knew.
So, what gender do you think is saying I see why he cheated? Men or women?
No, women. She's talking about women, like women, attacking other women.
All right, hold on. All right.
That y'all just came back from a funeral and a wake. No one knows that. No one knew that you had been covering him all these years up until this point, being this supportive wife, being this woman who was not some girl that was like, I don't want to have sex with my husband. You're saying, I want to perfect this thing. I'm over here trying to model what these other women are doing so that I can give my man the best sex so he can choose me and leave them alone. No one knows the inner struggle that you're going through. No one knew the abuse that you had come through. Haven't overcome it yet, but you have come through it. No one knew that here is this woman who never wanted to be in this spotlight is now sitting right here in front of the world being picked apart. Right. And that's the reason, Danae, I said I want to make sure that I had a makeup artist come make you look absolutely beautiful and like you needed it. But I said I want to make sure that they didn't have nothing to pick you apart from.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate all the care and the just basic human dignity and respect that you've shown me, which apparently is hard to get just being me for whatever reason that is. And so, all of the public scrutiny that I endured in that time, I'm like,
I'm going to let you win.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if you get that thought out.
Best time of year
completely.
To save money. Are you ready? It's all year. But
it's almost like a head spin. It's like, what is going on? I don't even know how to respond or react.
Okay. All right. So.
Beauty.
Did you guys catch the place where he said a woman would never wanted to be in the spotlight and suddenly find herself in the spotlight, right? You guys caught that?
Yeah. Okay. And the reason why she found herself in the spotlight is because of the lack of acknowledgement that he is not, that the lack of acknowledgement from her husband to her too, and that the behaviors that was just continue and never stop, just heartbreaking things that he was doing behind the scene. So in a way, she feels like, even though she might not be the front tier person, if this is what, so like, I'm coming to the national TV now. Everybody's gonna know that he got a wife and we love each other and we are working on our marriage. Remember, like I said.
So this moment, right? What you're saying is that this moment right here, let me see here. This moment right here was somewhat of some kind of fulfillment for her, like finally.
Absolutely. Believe me, I was once. My situation is not in a public arena, but in a moment like that,
but it's something of that nature.
Yeah, there's something in there that just kind of make you feel like, okay. Now, you all know now that he got a wife now, and we are working on our marriage. You all better back off. The thing is, you turn all your anger to all the other people outside, except for the one you are dealing with inside.
Right, because it's the baby that was taken advantage of.
It's ridiculous. Yes.
Beauty. All right, Natu, your thoughts about this? I see why he cheated on her. What do you think about that?
No, I don't go with that because I don't know what the situation was with her at that time when I saw the picture, when I saw the video. But I could tell you, like, for a fact, I was like, his wife is a beautiful woman. That was what came from me. I'm like, she's really pretty. So you could understand, like, with the whole situation, I don't expect her to be in front of the camera with makeup. If we're coming to talk about this, I might show up in my pajamas.
I
Voila.
mean, it's true. You know what is true? What is going through behind the door is way more than what people are thinking. Because again, for a lot of things that she said, that a lot of things that she doesn't say. So makeup is the last thing in her mind to show up. And then for a woman, you know, if you are a woman, you know, we live our experience, man of prestige.
Yep.
If you are a woman and when you see that video that day, if you have experienced if not even if not all that she has experienced, but something similar to that, believe me, makeup is the last thing in your head that you are thinking. You are just looking at her like, oh my God, what if a manipulation is a person, that would be the husband, and if this damaged woman is a person, that would be the Naya. That is what I was thinking. I said she's far gone damaged, but I know that there's hope that hopefully she will come out. When she hit that rock bottom, she will come out.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, we have Ekene here. Ekene, how far now? How you doing?
Oh, Jesus.
Why you do that now? Ekene, you're muted though. I think you're driving. Make sure you drive safe.
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know that whenever somebody manipulates somebody, they always find a man to be the scapegoat. And that's why she said, oh, Jesus. Yeah.
All right.
The blame of men is always too much. One thing about marriage, both each other manipulate each other. You see what I'm saying? Both the man and the woman. Marriage is interest. To some people, it's business. You see what I'm saying? But
it's
you
business.
can never. Yeah, it's business. To some people, not everybody.
I see.
You can never put a blame on a man squarely like she's doing right now. It's very, very wrong, because that's why they call it manipulation. People manipulate a lot, and then they find somebody else to blame because they don't want to take individual accountability. That lady got into that marriage because she wanted to be married. She wanted somewhere to stay. She was broken. She was in fact, that woman is damaged. You see what I'm saying?
So can I ask you, sir? Sir, yes, can I ask you? Yes, we agree that the woman has suffered in her own individual life, right? But can we agree that the man himself play on that trauma to his own benefit in a way that was also unhealthy? Can we agree on that?
Let me put this to you, okay? Whenever somebody is damaged, right, somebody always take advantage of that. That guy took advantage of her damagedness. Because if you look at his history, he always prey on damaged women. Because most of the women, whenever you put women through rotation like he did, a woman in a good family that is not damaged herself will not go through that. Will not even be involved in that kind of mess. But because he knows that if you want to deal with women and be in such a lifestyle, you gotta always prey on those ones that are seeking fathers, seeking brothers, seeking something. So he's a very, very manipulative human being. If you look at all the women he deals with, look at his YouTube. Almost all the women that are signed up in his YouTube are usually damaged women.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, just hang in. Let me play the next segment. Or before I do that, let me actually go to some of this chat here. Right. She was damaged by another man. Prince Will said. I'm gonna mute you while we're still waiting. Let's see here. Let me see. Not to. What happened to you before?
My sister called me.
Okay, all right. All right, cool. Thank you. When you're not speaking, just be muted. Thank you so much, so we can keep the audio clean. She was damaged by another man. That's what Boma Prince Will says. So men are still to blame. Abandoned by her father, raped. The fruit of grape by a man. All right, it's a wicked person who takes advantage of a damaged person. All right, so let's do this. Again, I don't want to police people's talking point because the man of prestige is known for certain things. I don't want to keep it that way, but I want to welcome all opinions. By the way, absolutely, she took accountability, and I think that's very important. And I think that's something that all the women listening to this should be paying the most attention to. The fact that she's able to come to a place where she's able to take full accountability. She barely talked about what he had done wrong outside of the factual things that are just factual, right? There was nothing emotional about everything that she said he did, and that was applaudable, you know. She was damaged by another man. That takes away the nature, just like what Ekene is saying. That takes away the nature of the way we have this conversation away, which is we need to bring it down to individual by individual as persons, but also individual relationship. The reality is that all of us, when we enter a relationship, we're going to bring some level of trauma, damages, baggages, whatever you want to call it, something that's not conducive for that relationship. That's just the reality. So now it's easy to take your focus off of this present relationship, and outside of learning lessons from what happened before, let me just look for people to point fingers at, right? And that game, you never finish that game. You will never finish that game because it never stops. The person you're pointing finger at also can point finger at somebody else. It's a vicious cycle that goes into people that have passed away a long time ago. You know what the scripture says about from all the way to fourth generation. We're dealing with all this stuff. Don't forget that, right? So yeah, it's a game that we will never finish. Well, granted, nice opinion. So men are still to blame. That's generalization, especially when we're talking about blame, faulting people, shaming people. It just never ends, right? I'm not saying you're wrong, but it never really ends, you know. It's a wicked person who take. Hold on one second, Ekene. It's a wicked person who takes advantage of a damaged person. The way Ekene presented his argument point, I could see where you came from that, right? Because again, this idea that somebody is just looking for someone to take advantage of, whereas it might be better, just might be better. I'm asking now. It might be better to look at, hey, that person that's a wicked person taking advantage of a person, because that's the way you presented it, Ekene. Maybe that person is actually taking advantage of another person from a place of weakness, not deliberate, not intentional, the way we're trying to paint it to be. There are wicked people out there. What I'm saying is that, again, as I always say, before you point fingers at wicked people, maybe you should look at self. Make sure you're not the wicked one first, right? Can I go ahead? You were saying?
Let me put it this way too. That guy can never be blamed for the initial relationship because she knew him and she went in. Jerry Jackson should never be blamed at all. The only thing Jerry Jackson should be blamed for is the infidelity that she was not aware of, because she was aware of most of them. You see what I'm saying? She was aware of most of them. She was actually watching the videos to learn how to practice her sexual prunes on him. You see what I'm saying? That means she knew what was going on. So these people should not blame that guy. And it's also, she got pregnant, knowing fully well that if she gets pregnant.
So let me ask you, before I go to the, I want to play the next segment, right? Who should be blamed?
She has to be blamed. Like I would say, 90% of the time, she got to take that blame. It was her fault.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
She explained it. She explained it, and she said she owned it.
Let me tell you
hold on, Natu. I want to play the next segment. I'm just going to say this, right? There are two buzzwords you use, right? If you can mute, thank you. There are two buzzwords you use, and I'm going to play the next segment so we can have more stuff to talk about, right? You use the word blame and fault. No, those two things are not relevant. They're just not relevant. Okay, she's taking accountability. That's not the same thing as blame. That's not the same thing as guilty. That's not they're not relevant. Fault, not relevant. But let me play the next segment. Let's continue the conversation. Nice ones though, guys.
This day that he made he made a post acknowledging you. And
this is about the Mother's Day post.
Made a statement of saying in times where you didn't have the strength to show up for yourself. Of course, you showed up for your kids. How'd you feel about that?
What? Like, that's how I felt. Like, what is going on here? I was completely confused. I'm like, somebody sit me down and explain this. We need to define a lot of things.
You didn't look at that as, wow, he's celebrating me on Mother's Day?
Join hundreds of high achievers at the
Sorry
Aspire
about
Tour.
that. This lesson here is about when a person is trying to save their marriage, okay? And they go post some kind of Mother's Day post. That's what this segment is about. Hold on a second.
Like, this is like a real internal dialogue. Like, am I ungrateful? Am I, like, these are the questions that I'm going through, like, real time, real life. Like, I don't feel that. I feel confused about it, and I feel like was that really for me? Because when I'm looking at it, I was blocked for months until apparently just recently, which I didn't even know I was unblocked.
Unblocked from what? From social media? From
his social media. He blocked me on everything, and so I didn't even know I was unblocked.
Games.
He didn't tag me in it, so I'm like, was that for me? And then my name is DA''NAIA. He didn't even have the decency to
spell your name right.
Spell my name right.
She's nitpicking basically.
And so I'm like, okay, am I being nitpicky because I want my name to be spelled right after all these years?
Well, I mean, it is your husband.
But I don't even know. I mean, can we define all these things? Is that even a thing to add?
So the point here is that somebody is making a gesture, right? They're trying to save their marriage, whatever they're trying to do, they're going through it at home. Don't ever get it twisted that after they did that bonnet salvation of helmets thing, that everything was perfect after that. In fact, it was worse. It went worse after that.
Absolutely not. That you see, the bonnet is a facade.
Right. So even if I believe them that up to that point they were trying to do something, but once the monitoring spirits online came in, it was just chaos, right? So after that, basically they were going through a lot of ups and downs, and he posted a happy Mother's Day, kind of celebrated her, and the way she received it is negative, right? And that's what I wanted to get from this. Yeah.
Man of prestige.
Yes.
That is a manipulation. I'm not. Let me tell you this.
Yeah, tell us.
I respect individual opinion, and I'm not going to generalize that this one is this or this one is that. We are of product of our experience.
Right.
I'm only talking from my own experience. The healing process takes a hell of time and energy and money to get to that place where you can see it for what it is. Okay. So for somebody who we are not even have such cordial relationship behind the door, then you went ahead on social media now praising the hell out of me. For me, that is, I know exactly what she's talking about. I know what that means for her. Again, that is her experience. And I'm going to, that for me, that's a manipulation. It's nothing but manipulation.
So let's do this, right? And I want you to give me your clear-cut answer on this, right? Is it manipulation or it will come off as manipulation? Those are two different things. Which one is it?
I don't know which one it is. Whatever it is, as far as I'm concerned, if like in the situation, let me tell you this, Ola, because I'm not gonna say what I don't know.
Pick one now.
No, I'm not. I don't know. Don't listen.
It appears manipulation. It's not.
Is it manipulation or it appears as a manipulation? Those are two different things.
It is a manipulation, Ola. You know why? You know why?
Hold on, let her finish.
Let me tell you why it's manipulation. Because again, your experience is your experience. These men like Jackson, they can wait for you for years just to, not really that they want to get back to you, but just to stay associated with you in some kind of maybe sexually whatever form that they will, whatever the case may be. Okay. So if we are not in good time behind the door, And then you come up here on the social media saying, because again, remember, she blocked her. She didn't even know
Right.
that she was unblocked.
There are reason
I mean,
why she's blocked. But let me ask you this follow-up question really quickly, right? I'll take that in. You're saying it's manipulation. I'll take that in. So now, give me one good benefit of interpreting it as it's manipulation. One good benefit of that.
the benefit of that is at least you now you can see him for who he is. So you know your boundary is up, and you know that it doesn't matter what he did or doesn't do. It's not getting to you anymore, because now you are in a place where you can just see him from distance, and you don't get caught up in that emotion.
So we're
thinking,
talking. No, granted, you were talking about your husband now, right? Now
Right,
you
not
see
thinking-
your husband as your enemy, precisely what you just said, right? And
No,
so
it's
you
not
can
an
so you
enemy.
can
It's-
protect
it-
yourself. No, wait. I just use an extreme word.
Mhm.
So you can protect
Mhm.
yourself from whatever that is, right? That manipulation. It's an
Right.
attack.
So
It's
you
an
don't
attack,
you
right?
don't get caught up
So-
in the yes.
Right. So now, again, give me one good benefit of being in a marriage with a person you see as, I don't know, what's a better word than enemy? I don't know. I see it as enemy, the way you described it. Tell me one good benefit of seeing your husband as the enemy.
I mean, so that puts you, again, like I said, that kind of help you not to have, like, it kind of break the unhealthy attachment that you had to begin with. So it's like you are just looking at the person as an individual. It's not like you are hoping that because let me tell you, if Jackson can have his way back to her and she allow him, he will not like in a marriage sense, but sexually he will do it.
Well, Jackson is the one. Jackson is the one who asked to. I don't want to have sex with you for 2 months straight. He's the one who asked for divorce in this story.
Man of prestige,
right?
Man
No,
of
wait.
prestige.
We're talking about the realities now. She said it with her own mouth.
Okay.
He didn't say it. She said it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
again, we're working with what we got. That's what we're working
Right.
with right now. This is a manipulator. You're never going to pull plug on this marriage. You will stay in it, right? You will stay in it, and whatever it takes just to stay in it, right? But he's the manipulator. But let me stay inside of it. In fact, it's the one who is pulling the plug on the marriage right now. We're not aligning. I know. Help me align. Something is disconnecting there for me.
Okay, so it's like the marriage is already breaking down for what we can see, right? So if we are intimate yesterday and then you came to me today, like, okay, you want to go on the whatever 2 months of no any of those things anymore, right? Granted. And then you come the next day and you said, now I want out, I want a divorce. I mean, the scale of the up and down that comes of emotional roller coaster that comes with that, as a woman, I won't know what that feels like for a man. I'm talking as a woman. The emotional roller coaster when you are in your hair still hoping that this is gonna work, and then here come intimate yesterday. I'm gonna be off in the next 2 months today, and then the next day, the marriage is. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. If that is not a classical of manipulation of mind, I won't know what that is. As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't even know what that is. I mean, a normal person is someone with emotional intelligence. You don't need all of that scenario to say this is it for me. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore, or to find a way to not having to break someone's down to the floor just because you know that you have that power or
Let's
you
do
have
this.
that control.
Let's do this. Let's go to Natu. Natu.
My point is, why doesn't he have our number? Why does he see the need of coming to social media to post that? If that's your wife, and you guys are still
We all do. We celebrate the
No.
mother of our
No,
kids
you
on
don't.
Mother's Day.
You don't.
No.
Remember, he
If
has
you
never,
guys are
he
on
has
good
never
terms.
celebrated her on the social media
This is the
before
first
all
time.
this happening.
All right, so let me tell you this. I'll tell you a quick story. I think this is in the book. You go find the book. It's at loveandprestige.com. Download it. It's free, right? The first time my wife would give me a pushback, okay? First time she gave me a solid pushback, like something is terribly wrong with our marriage, years back, right? One of the first moves that I made was like, you know what? I felt guilty. I felt like, you know what? I feel like, you know what, I think it's something I've been feeling for a while. Like I need to celebrate my wife a little bit more, right? But I kind of waited a bit too late. It was a bit too late at that point in time. So I went on my Instagram post. I typed out like how I appreciate her, like a whole letter, right? Just how I feel, how I appreciate her for being the mother of her kids, to being the love of my life, to being I did all of that, right? Okay, this is something I'm trying to teach men, okay, to understand, right? You ladies feel the way you feel. You're not wrong for feeling the way you feel, but I'm just trying to give you another perspective here, right? And then the first person that saw it was her best friend in Nigeria. And the best friend literally interpreted it the way you interpreted it. Okay. She interpreted it as such. She didn't appreciate it. The lesson here is actually more for men. Okay. Okay. And sometimes I tell you, like, I can see controlling behavior in a man and he doesn't see it. There's a reason why he doesn't see it, because that's not the intentions, right? When you say somebody is manipulative, right?
That's exactly what I'm trying to tell them.
and they come off as manipulative. Yes, I agree, it is manipulative, but there's another level I'm trying to take you to, right? As I always do here, right? So a level I'm trying to take you to, like, hey, that person that's coming off as manipulative, well, we have to first of all acknowledge it's coming off as manipulative. I need to acknowledge that. I had to come to a place and say, you know what, and learn and say, yes, that's manipulative, and I agree that's manipulative, right? But I had to do it within the space where I'm not beating myself up, because I guarantee you it wasn't coming from that place of intentionality where I just want to manipulate this woman, and I mapped out from where I'm at, where I feel like this is the mother of my kid today. I want to celebrate her today. I mapped it all the way out to she's going to be my slave for the next 30 years, right? The way you all process it is exactly like that. He's mapped it out. Like, I'm going to do this, it's going to make her so, and then all the way to the next 30 years from now. And that's why I asked the question. I said, give me one good benefit of saying it that way, right? If the only benefit, I'll let you go. I'll let you go after this. If the only thing you get out of it is that this is quote unquote a mild version of my enemy who is looking to hurt me, you're better off getting out of the marriage. If you're not getting out of the marriage, there is some kind of value you're still getting in staying in the marriage. Yes, you can interpret it as I'm still trying to figure things out. It's not that easy. You're absolutely correct. None of this stuff is. Every single one of this thing we're talking about is easier said than done. But this is just the reality. But this idea that he was trying to manipulate her, it is manipulative. He was trying to manipulate her. Those two things are different. It's coming off as manipulative. I receive this as manipulative. It's painful on my end as manipulative, right? But he's manipulating me. All of those things can be quite different, and there's one little thing that creates the distinct difference. Is this person intentionally doing this? Now, if they're not intentional, just because you're not ignorance is not an excuse, gentlemen. Because you're not intentionally doing it doesn't mean you're not doing it. I just want you to know that, because you're dealing with women. Because you're not intentionally doing it doesn't mean you're not doing it. Once you are aware that, hey, the lesson here before I let the kidney go is this. If your marriage is in a funky place, if she's not in love with you, like as in love with you in this moment, which is an up and down thing, right? If you're in a space that's just bad right now and you're trying to get your wife back, the worst thing you can do is go on social media and go and post all kind of praises. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's the same thing as apologizing without knowing why you're apologizing. Don't do anything that will that will come off as a shortcut, right? There's a long route you need to do the work. You need to do the work of getting her to a space where she's all over, she's in love with you all over again. That might be never, because we don't know what you did before you got to this point. The point is that don't go, somebody is going to teach you. Another woman actually taught me to, say something nice, flowers. Don't do it. It's not going to be received well. right? They're gonna advise you and say maybe she would like this, maybe she would like. No, you need to do the work. What is the work? Active listening. Need to understand. Take the time. Don't try to answer every question you get today. Though it's not gonna work, right? You need to give time. You need to allow God to do his thing, because if you try to do the shortcut thing, let me post something on social media on a Mother's Day. Listen, I'm a man. I understand you might not realize you are being manipulative. You might just be coming from a good place of intention, but the way she's going to receive it is exactly what you heard this lady's say earlier. Go ahead, Akene. Then I want to hear the lady's thoughts about that after that. Go ahead.
This is the problem, right? The problem we have, first, let me say this. A lot then, we Nigerians, it take forever for us to land the plane. But, but the problem is this, right? This is what our women don't understand. When you're dealing with your husband, don't go to your girlfriends to seek opinion. Go to your mother. Because most of you, your girlfriends are damaged. Most of you, your girlfriends want you to leave your husband. Most of you, your girlfriends are not happy that you're married. And most of you, some of your girlfriends want to divorce and they want you to follow them, to be single with them. You should be very careful who you get advice from. The best person to get advice from is somebody that lives in a happy marriage and your mother. Older women, they will advise you because they've been through it. And secondly, this. We always think that, like, I've seen women that always think that a man is trying to be manipulative. No, a man will be manipulative to save his family, which is a good manipulation.
Voila, good manipulation.
Yeah, to save your family. To save your family is a good manipulation. But that is not the intention of the man to be manipulative. He doesn't even say that he's really manipulative. But your girlfriend tells you, oh, he's manipulating you. He's manipulating you. No, don't do that. Don't count it like that. Do whatever you can to save your family. That's the bottom line. Saving your family is the bottom line.
I'll tell you right now. You know, I halfway agree with you. There is no such thing as good manipulation. Your intentions does not turn manipulation to good. In fact, your intentions end up in the poro all the time. Good. I've been saying that forever here. Yeah, we need to discount intentions all the way down when we're having this conversation. I know we were raised to kind of think like once you have good intention, you should generate good results. But we're literally seeing it in real time that it just never works. I see the advice for the ladies. I think it's okay that they hear us out a little bit. But ultimately, the reality is that men have to lead. There's a place, you would agree with this, Akene. There's a place where you just have to say, hey, she's not just in that space. I'm not. The idea of, I'm struggling with something here. There's manipulation, there's seduction. Okay? The only difference between seduction and controlling behavior and manipulation is that one has value in it and one respects time, patience, right? Manipulation is like, let me do something right now to get quick results. Listen, it still has good intention, right? But let me do something right now. Let me say something stupid, or let me go and post on social media. Maybe that will help her. Let me buy flowers today. Maybe that will help her, right? There's nothing wrong with flowers. It's better when you're in a good space. That's my point, right? It's better when you've done the work. I'm not talking about people that just met yesterday.
Look at it this way. The reason why I say manipulative, right, is because women are already counting it as manipulative. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're already counting it like that. So you're not going to convince her that it's not manipulation because
that's my point.
Already told her.
No, that's my point is that we in fact, as men, we should stop trying to convince them that they must receive manipulation as a good thing.
No, you don't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that she should accept manipulation as a good thing. But what I'm saying that she shouldn't go to her husband and say, "Oh, you manipulating me," or have that idea in your mind that it's been a manipulation. That's why I say, if you see that as a manipulation, just hope for, just look out for the end result, because your friend already told his manipulation, so there is nothing that man can do.
Yeah, they
because
won't.
Our friend already got into her head saying that is manipulation, so she's not going to forget. She's not going to.
Why are you always saying that friends will tell them? Don't people have like a mind of their own sometimes to?
But guess what? You might have a mind of your own. Not a lot of women are. You can't remember one thing about this YouTube space.
You're generalizing.
Okay, let me tell you this real quick. I don't know who we speak. I don't know if it's Netu, but let me say this to you real quick, okay? There is a reason why we generalize, because generalization is the majority. That's why we generalize. If
generalization on the internet is not the majority, is your experience usually.
Sometimes you can say that, but guess what happened, right? If you say, okay, let me streamline it to individual, in most cases, right? You're not going to be able to land what you're trying to say. Or maybe
you're right, because we all generalize, right? We all generalize and we all generalize, but we have to push against it anytime we get a chance. Whenever we get a chance for examples, we need to do it. You know. But
the thing is this: there is always an exception, but the exception is not the rule, right? The lady that just spoke right now, maybe she's not the person, but there are many women like that are like that. So
I think as a pushback against NATO, I think we're all like that. We're all influenced by our surroundings.
Our friends.
Yeah, we're all influenced. You know.
So that is why. But the thing that I'm trying to tell NATO is this, right? Men always have some sort of intention, but the end result is that most men want to save their family.
Yeah, but that's my point, and the point we tend to make here on Men of Prestige is that it's not working. Women are actively trying to change men to be women, and men are actively trying to change. Wait. There is both sides. Men are actively trying to change women to be men. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It's not. That's exactly
what will work. You as an African man like me, what will work is understanding.
That's right.
Okay, you're going to have to calm down, right, and just try your best. You're not going to be a woman ever, understand? But try your best. That means it's a lot of patience that will be required in any of this conversation, especially if we're talking about your wife. It's a lot of patience that will be required, right? Ebenezer Obey Suru laughing shock obìnrin. He wasn't a madman. He wasn't a simp. He knew what he was talking about. He said patience.
Man of Prestige.
Yes, ma'am.
Man of Prestige. I was gonna say this. You know, in my old days when people like Ikene saying what they're saying, I used to get triggered by it. I don't get triggered by all of that anymore. You know why? Because I've get to come to the level of understanding and listening to different opinions. Like it's always not gonna be the same with mine, right? Yeah. However, though, manipulations is a quick fix, and it never ends.
It never works.
Okay.
It never works. Yeah.
It never works. It never ends, and it damages a lot of things. Even if you have a good intention and you are using manipulation with it, it will never end up where it's supposed to, right? When you are in this, like in their relationship for both of them, I mean, clearly the girl is going through whatever she's going through. Is Jackson have a lot to do with bringing out the worst in her? Absolutely. Right? Yeah. Does she have the responsibility to know when to walk away? Absolutely. But when you have that amount of trauma and you end up with another damaged person like you, it's an emotional roller coaster that comes with it.
Yeah, they'll be feeding off of their toxin. They'll be feeding off of each other.
Like there is this trauma bonding thing. There's unhealthy attachment that you feel like you're in control. I mean, and I'm talking as a woman. You as a woman, me as a woman, I feel like I'm in control of this. And you don't, so when you are in it, you don't even see it as an unhealthy attachment. You see it. This is how it's supposed to be. Or maybe this is how it's supposed to be.
You're just trying to emotionally survive. That's all you're doing on a daily basis.
That's all you are doing. So to say that men use manipulation, please, manipulation is not it. It's a quick fix. It's very damaging. And I think, like you said, it's time to walk towards the fact that emotional intelligence just have to take the lead. If emotional intelligence cannot take the lead in any relationship, whether it's a marriage or work, professionally, it doesn't matter. If that
Right.
doesn't take a lead, then there's an issue. I have issue with that, and I don't want to participate in that either.
Yes, yes, and let me round it up like this. Shout out to all three of you. This was good conversation, right? Let me round it up like this, right? My what I was trying to get you ladies to understand earlier is I don't want us to jump to the extreme where there's no good intentions involved, because it doesn't really help you, right? What it makes you do is create more division between you and your husband, and it might not be a Derrick Jackson, it might just be friction, like growing pain of most, like all marriages will go through it, right? It might just be growing pain, right? And if you jump to the extreme of, which is completely discounting that there was good intentions involved in this, right? And you're hearing enough social media and enough of your friends, if you're lucky enough to have friends, right? The benefit you get from that is more and more division, and a house divided against itself cannot stand, right? But if you understand, it's the wickedness thing, right? If you understand, like, this guy is being manipulative, but I understand it's coming from a place of weakness. If you have that, listen, as a human being who is caught up in your emotions, you're not thinking that, you're just thinking wickedness. It's natural for you to think wickedness, right? But when you have it at the back of your mind that there's such a thing, there's a concept called wickedness and weakness, right? There's the reservation there for you to be able to do a little bit more understanding on your own part, at least understanding for yourself, a little patience, because a lot of you ladies, what you need to do is actually be patient with yourself. A lot of it, you're judging yourself. Remember, she said that, right? She was trying to match up with all these people. She's an empty shell of herself. She was trying to match up with all these different women. She felt extremely less of herself, right? So when I say people should have patience, gentlemen, it's actually for your own good, for the most part. It's for your own good. You don't have all the answers. Stop trying to be God. You will never have all the answers. But a little extra patience, you gain extra little respect. A little extra patience, you gain extra little respect. And if you have enough self-respect, people have no choice but to respect you, right? Being able to sit with yourself a little bit and take some time off is a big deal. It's hard work a lot of time, because what do? We all try to fix it. Let's just fix it. That's where manipulation comes from. Let me just say this thing so she can shut up. Let me just say this one thing. Let me go and paste all of this. Let me say I'm sorry without knowing what I'm sorry for. And so we can just brush this stuff under the rug, and it's 100% of the time destructive. But I wanted you ladies to sometimes your partner may just need a little help. There's nothing wrong with that. You're literally help me, okay? And a little help. Maybe it's not help directly. Maybe time, right? Just time to back off a little bit. That feels manipulative, but let me just go in the other room for now, because Jesus Christ, that's such a weak place to come from, right? And if you consistently do it, if you do enough of it, you will destroy your marriage, gentlemen. Ladies, if you do enough manipulation, you will destroy everything. You will destroy everything, because again, manipulation by itself, there's nothing good about it, because it's shortcut, because it's a short-term gains. If you gain anything from it, it's short-term gain, because eventually the truth is undefeated. It will rear its face and it'll be like, yeah, I'm still here. Your issues are still here. But let's go to the next segment and let's talk about that really quickly. Hold on one second. All right,
let's go back. Quick, right?
You're recording.
Yeah, Natu, what's up?
Okay, real quick. I just wanted to add something to when Kenna was saying earlier on that he was talking about her being blamed and she went ahead to get pregnant. So I just wanted to make it clear, like,
hey, Binkwe,
she doesn't have that power to. It's just like you sleeping with a woman without protection. Two things are gonna happen, No, three. It's either nothing happens, or you get STD, or she gets pregnant. Like, you have to have that back of your head. But for you to just go ahead without protection, just feel like, I'm gonna be fine. And then something happened, and then you're like, oh, it's your fault because you let it happen. Like, no.
Yeah.
Ola, let me put this to her real quick, because what she said, that's what I keep complaining. I don't know who is talking, but she.
It's Natu. It's your G, Natu now.
Natu. Keep placing the blame on men. That is very wrong.
I'm not placing the blame. No. I'm not placing the blame.
Whenever a woman, okay, I'm coming, Natu. Let me say this real quick. Whenever a woman gets pregnant, is the two of them.
But that was what you said earlier.
No. That's because I didn't finish talking. Whenever a woman gets pregnant, is the two of them. When she carries it to term, it's her decision. You see what I'm saying? If she gets pregnant, okay, guess what? You remember my body, my church, right? You remember my body, my church, right? If she gets pregnant, it's the two of
They're
them.
gonna.
You got that, right? I'm talking
No,
about
we
people
don't
that are
get
not.
it.
No, I'm talking about people that are not married. You guys listen to me so that way you can get me right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about people that are married. No, that are not married.
They are not married. Uh-huh.
Go back, go upstairs now. Yeah.
You're holding us hostage, yo.
Yeah. No, okay, sorry. So whenever two people get into situationship and they're not married and they're pregnant, just like she and that guy did, is the two of them. If she's still not married and have that child, it's her decision because she can do whatever with the child. For those that believe in abortion, right?
Yeah, don't say that word here. Sorry for you too.
Okay. For those
for
that
the A word.
For the A
Baby
word.
deletion.
Yeah. Believe in A.
Right.
But for married people, it's a different case because that's what they hope for. Because if
what
you're
makes
married,
it different if you're married? What makes it different?
Okay. I understand some people are modern. The number one reason why people get married is for having kids. That's it.
No, that's not why people get married.
No,
That's not why most people get married.
I'm sorry, I'm not marrying any woman to be my companion. I'm marrying a woman to have my kids.
That
you just said I. That's acceptable.
No, that's number one. That's number one. Then number two, get a woman and put in your house without having kids and see what your mom will do.
Excuse me?
Human being on this earth that wants to marry, right? Except it's not, if it's a marriage that maybe she's 40, 45, yes, it's different. But I'm talking about youths getting married.
Right,
Youths
they're married for what?
Is for repropriation. That's it. But if you're getting, maybe you have a kid, right? You already have your own children, and she has her own children. It's a different case. It's blended family. I understand that exists. But as long as two people, no kids, are coming together to marry, it's for repropriation.
All right, so
deal of support.
Right now, here's the thing, right? I don't want to. That's a whole lot of different conversation that I would like to have at some point. In 2023, most people that are getting married are doing it for companionship. Sorry. Not you. Maybe, I agree with you. I mean, I take what you said in, but most people are marrying for companionship. There are some people marrying because of money. Yes, it's still minority. There are some people marrying because all they're thinking about is kids and not the other person. That's minority. At best, they are all online. Well, we're all online, but people are only saying I do for a lifetime because they literally get caught up in their emotions. They fall in love, literally. Okay, they will find out the real deal once they're inside, but that's literally what people are doing. But let's continue this conversation. I beg, make we know the conversation. Okay, let me play the video.
Recording this video, how did the video come about? Did he say, "Hey, I need to record this video. I want you to be a"?
So the question here is that this video right here.
I gotta get off the phone. I'll come back later. Okay.
No. So it's talking about this video right here. How did it come about? And that's what she's about to tell us. Okay. She's about to tell us how this video, the infamous Bonnet Salvation Helmet video, came about. Let's hear it.
A part of it, I want you to stand by your man. Like, what happened?
He didn't coerce me into making the video. He asked me, like, would I feel comfortable? He's like, would you feel comfortable? Because I don't want you to do something you're not comfortable with. And I'm like, I feel like I have to do this because I decided to come back, and I've been putting pressure on you to make a stand for me. So if I'm going to put pressure on you to make a stand for me, I need to sit up here and be in the fire with you.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's only, I signed up for the worst, the better and the worst and all that. Right. So here's the worst, and we are here. And do I like it? No, but he didn't coerce me to do it. I made the decision like, okay, I'm going to do it, especially since I've been putting this pressure on you to make a stand for me. So if this is the way we're making a stand, this is how we're doing it. So there wasn't a whole lot of preparation time. Again, we did it like the following Monday. The wake was on Friday. We went to the funeral Saturday. We drove back. Back on through Sunday. Monday, we're sitting there recording, like there's no sleep. We're still grieving. You know, I'm whole pregnant. Just found out I was pregnant. Like, still got to make a doctor's appointment just to confirm the viability of it. Whole 8 weeks pregnant at that point. Didn't even know that, but so, you know, it was a lot going on. It's like we have to do something because, you know, this is getting out of control, and this is our source of income. So, financial crisis on top of all of the other things, right? So that's where I told you the Lord just brought me to Job. Financial crisis, house is being, marriage is being attacked, children are being attacked, right? I'm pregnant, so my children are being attacked, mental and emotional state being attacked. All these things are being attacked. And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, Satan has asked for permission to attack us, and he has legal grounds and rights because this has all been, you know, we've been doing our own thing in here. And so this is a different type of battle than the average person would think, or even the average Christian would think, like, oh, all these areas are being attacked. Like, get off of social media and go see a therapist. Well, the therapist is not going to save my mental and emotional state right now. Only Jesus is, you know. So
you sat down, you recorded that video, you didn't prep, you had, what was that? Some people say it's a bonnet. Some people say it's a beret. Which one was it?
It was a beret. It's actually a hat.
Okay.
I had on a hat. That was the day I was having like morning sickness.
What's a beret? Is that a beret?
Exhausted, and it's like, we have to get this done though. Like, there was an urgency in, like, okay, we have to get this done.
Yeah, it's a beret.
We don't have a PR.
It's a beret, right?
We have to do something. So I'm like, okay,
yes,
you know, help me get through it. He made a video before me and him got on there, and I think he took that down because people were
It did.
But I was
listen, I gotta find that video. I'm gonna try to find it. He did make a video before that. The video where he was talking about himself in third person. Anybody remember that video?
I mean, he was talking himself in third person. Even with the one with the beret, he was talking to himself in third person.
No, this one was by himself inside a car. This one was by himself inside a car. Like the normal, video that. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, go ahead and share your thoughts about this one we just watched. Yeah,
no, so remember, she said something about the spiritual journey that she has to go through, whatever that looks like for her, right? That is a survivor guide for her. That is a coping mechanism that helped her to get to where she is today. Believe it or not. Okay, because it's like when you are in it, there's something you have to have something to hang on to, apart from this person, because you are not getting what you need emotionally, and you know it. You know the breaking down. You can see it. You can feel it, and the difference between her and somebody else who doesn't have what she had spiritually. Call it crazy, okay?
Let me ask you this. She said I wasn't coerced into it. What do you think about that?
In a way, I believe, you believe yourself that you are not being coerced to that. Trust me.
Even now,
like,
she just said that.
I believe her what she said.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe her what she said. But I'm saying, when you are in that situation, remember, you are everything you are doing is just to make this person happy and see you as his wife and his equal. Like, we are in this together. It's very easy when things are falling apart. They know how to come around to just make it look like this is we thing. Okay. If you are the one falling apart behind the scene, you are by you on your own, ma'am. You on your own. That's just the way it feels like. So even when you get the chance to work with them in a situation where that is breaking down, now we have to make up this face that we know what we are doing, what not. If you feel like you have control of, okay, I'm doing my wifely duty. You know, he doesn't want me to do it. They are not going to present it to you like they want you to do it. They have a way to just make you feel like you have nothing else to do but to support whatever they are doing.
Jesus Christ.
Again, I'm talking from experience. Again, please.
All right. I hear you.
Just, yeah.
Let's do this, right? She says she wasn't coerced into it. There are two ways I see it. But before I say the two ways I see it, I want to go to Natu. Natu, what are your thoughts about this?
So she contradicted herself. She
Mhm.
said she wasn't, but also she said that she was made aware this is their source of livelihood and financial crisis is gonna loom.
Well, she
So
left in the middle of a financial crisis. Her phone was literally turned off while she left for 8 months. So I'm not sure she was afraid of that particularly. She's demonstrated that she wasn't exactly afraid of that.
yeah, but go back to the video again and watch what when she was saying it. She was like, I was made aware of that.
Uh-huh.
And well, I'm coming to support you because this is where we get our daily bread from. So
Okay, yes, she said that. Yes. So she's saying that she's saying it's not one dimensional thing that made her do the video, basically,
right,
right?
but so you could see that
Yeah,
also
there's a
in this
lot of
video.
things that goes into it.
Right,
Yes.
right. So we can respect that. Like, hey,
Yes,
this is
of
my
course.
husband. I just came back from our 8 month separation. We're actually trying to work on this. We have a lot going on. He's actually, according to her, he's actually stepped up to do a lot of things she requested in order for her to come back, right? And this was one opportunity for her to also be a ride or die. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right,
what she's saying
right,
in the video, right?
right.
So for us to now hang on to she was coerced, what that tells me is this. That's what it tells me.
Whatever.
That's what it's telling me.
Not
Okay.
a prestige.
No.
Not a prestige, please.
Remember,
Okay, there are
Tina,
two
one
ways.
second.
There's two ways. Before you continue, did you give your? Well, you already
No.
did, right? Okay, go
No,
ahead.
I did
go
not.
ahead.
So
Okay.
you remember how Auntie B used to say all the time when people talk about all these stuffs, and she said, when you're married, it's different from when you're having just a relationship with someone.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you just
Right.
walking away is not just getting them and like, oh, he's not
Exactly.
doing this, then that.
Mhm.
And like I've said, like this platform has showed me like a lot of stuff that sometimes you have to sit down and assess.
Mhm.
So to her, it's like, okay, I'm trying to save my marriage. Okay, he has done this and that. I think we're making baby steps. It's baby steps. So
Yeah.
she's gonna use that to convince her steps. Like, okay, we're making baby steps one step at a time. I'm not gonna rush him so that he doesn't feel like I'm trying to pressure him or control him. So I'm gonna let him move
It's
at his
not
pace
to
as long as
it's
he's making
not to that
changes.
speaking. Somebody was saying they wonder it was you. Yeah, this not to. Sorry, I'm sure I didn't cut you off, right?
No, that's fine.
Okay, there are two ways I look at it. Okay, in that space where, because she also said there was no PR, nobody helped them, anything like that, right? And you can't be your own self PR when you have that amount of attention on yourself. It's just not gonna work. Why she so you would say the wrong things. Okay, so there was no PRs, nothing like that. He tried his best to pull out the video to show her how, to prep her for it, right? In that space, there is no such thing as I'm just thinking straight and I knew exactly what I was doing. There's no something. It's an active crisis that they were actually trying to control narrative around. Okay, so there is room to say she was coerced in that. Okay. Now, the other side of things that I see is that there's a part inside of our book that we talked about. You have the power to assign meanings to the events of your life. Okay? You do. Especially when we're talking about emotional levels, right? If somebody physically crossed the line with you, right? They physically assaulted you or something like that. You don't have the right to assign meanings to that. That one is what it is. And you don't have to wait until it happens. If you smell it, you need to remove yourself. Okay. But if we're talking about at emotional levels, the active emotional back and forth that goes in a marriage from time to time, right? There will be events that will happen, and the meanings you attach to those events will basically determine the direction of your relationship. Okay. So if she sees it as I was coerced, there's a certain type of action that comes next after that. If she sees it as, no, I see, I comprehended why we were doing it, he wanted this, and I kind of agreed that we should do this. If she sees it that way, there's a certain line of action that comes after that. Now, months later, literally 2 years later, if she's interpreting and say, I wasn't coerced into it, there's something that does to her emotionally when she's able to engage her power in that way. So no, it could be her saying, no, I knew what I was doing, I'm holding myself accountable, I was responsible, I wasn't coerced into it, but that allows me to hold on to my own power. Because what happens, what's the flip side of that? I was absolutely, it's a terrible man, I was coerced into it, right? If that's all you're doing, the only power you get out of that is the feelings, just the instant gratification feelings that you shamed the man, the father of your kids,
and then you aren't able to break the attachment at the same
it's still an attachment. Exactly.
Right?
It's still an attachment.
So I applaud her for saying what she said, because again, you have to understand, 2 years, she's not the same woman that she was 2 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. And she's gonna be forever be the student in the healing department.
Right.
That for sure. Right. So but you can see the progress though.
It's the progress. That she's yes. And this is what healing looks like when you're in the journey of healing.
Exactly.
There's some meanings you've attached to events in your life, and you will start to change the meanings, and the meaning you attach to it can control your life, either in a negative way, in a positive way. And instead of worrying about what was right and wrong, it's better to worry about which one gives you the better outcome as a person. It's a selfish move. Which meaning out of these two would I assign to that event? Because we already passed it. Nobody's touching me right now. What meaning will I attach to it that will give me a better outcome, that will give me better chances of attracting life, love, quality life, and a better state of mental health? And wherever that is for you, I can't tell you what that is because I don't know your story. Wherever that is what is probably the best bet. Go ahead.
You know, also one thing that I appreciate her for this interview for, like you said earlier, like in the whole interview, you could count how many times she faulted him.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Like most of the time she was talking about the role that she played.
Yes.
Exactly. So like that is like a big plus. And I feel like this applies to like every human being when situations arise. Like sometimes we are quick to say, oh, this person did that, but what did you do? And like also you said, how we receive it and how we respond.
How you respond, how you interpret, what meanings you attach to them.
Exactly, determines the outcome. So that's what it is.
It determines your next move. Like if you think somebody is being wicked to you, the next best thing to do is to be wicked back to them. Right? If you think somebody is coming from a place of weakness, you will be able to exercise a little bit of patience so you can take time to understand what's going on.
And that's another thing I learned from your book, the weakness versus wickedness.
Yes.
And I told that when I heard that, like I had to sit and let it marinate a little bit.
I learned it from TD Jakes.
Yes, because sometimes I think we get carried away and we see that wickedness. We don't understand that people have weakness and strength.
Yes.
And sometimes like people just, that weakness they're using, like they just have to use that to cover up for their weakness.
Yes, so and to be fair, after you've taken the time to assess things, you might still conclude that it's wickedness. Then that's fine.
True.
Right.
True.
You know,
true.
That's fine. You know, but most of us that we're saying wickedness, no, we're just speaking out of what it feels like. It felt like that person is being outright wicked, and that's basically all you're talking about. And in that space, you might just remain a victim. The best you can get out of it is remain a victim for a long time. You know.
Exactly, and you know one of the best assets that we can have as human being is self-control, the emotional self-control. Your own individual self-control. Because imagine somebody who is, you already lost your own control, you don't even know it, and then you're trying to control somebody else who has his or her own trauma that is dealing with.
Right.
That is a recipe for disaster in a relationship.
Right. And to be clear, do not stay in it, because they said on Men of Prestige, don't stay in bad situation talking about, they said on Men of Prestige that, you know, if I feel abused, let me take my time to assess. No, if you feel abused, precisely, you need to remove yourself first before you start to assess all that nonsense. Trust me, not if you belong there. If it's a situation, everything will be there for you. If you belong there, there's nothing that's worthwhile that you can be snatched out of just because you left for one day, or just
Right.
because you say I need space, or just
Right.
because now if you belong there, it was something that took time to build. It will take time a little bit. Maybe it takes a little faster to destroy things, but it will take a little bit longer than just I need
Fix
space
it.
to destroy it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yes, Embassy spot on. Tokes. Who is Tok? Is it Tok or Tokes? There's no such thing as Tok, right? Abi, that's a different. It's not a Yoruba name.
Is a Chinese person.
Oh, like Chinese person.
Oh,
Voila. Big Bay says, I think she's just on the healing path, so she doesn't want to give her power of healing and getting rid of her, and that's very important. That's the point we're making, right? And then this Talk Praise says she also mentioned about their income, so it's all course, but she wouldn't know it. If at the end of 2 years you haven't concluded that it's coercing, it probably wasn't coercing, right? It probably just you pointing fingers, because if it's coercing, you would know that no, I was coerced into that. No, I didn't want to do that. She said I'm Nigerian. Okay, your spelling, because that you have to pay for that name. I am Tokes as well. You see what I'm saying? If the person doesn't know it's coercing after 2 years, if they just outrightly don't know, that healing is not working, because part of healing is if it's coercing, you should call it what it is. You should call it what it is. But yes, let's continue the conversation. This segment right here is about they had her. She said, let me just play that really quickly, and then I want us to talk about. I want you to know the power of our mind. It's the power of our mind that I want us to pay the most attention to, and not the rights and the wrongs. There's more than enough people that will tell you what is right and wrong online. I promise you. Okay, more than enough people. They know what is right. They will give you their opinion. Half of them, their opinion will align with yours. But we need to dig a little deeper than black and white, 1 and 0, right and wrong. And I want you to see the power of the meanings you attach to the events of your life. That's going to play out in this segment. She said they had her. Some of you that watched the podcast, you probably missed this, but let's go.
Like with just trying to do all the things that I was doing. And I said how it affected me in that little segment of his post was referencing that, even down to our daughter. Like I had some issues like with the complexion of our daughter, because that was the type of woman that he would go after, and I'm not dark, like super dark skinned woman, and our daughter's like a little chocolate little princess. She has it, and I'm just like, how does she look like the women that he wants?
Wow, that's deep.
How does she look like the women that he wants and he desires and he loves? Like, like, I don't understand. It's like they had her even though I carried her.
Oh,
beauty. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to work out.
You gotta let that sit. You can't go it, dude. You said they had her even though you had her?
They had her even though I carried her. That's what I felt like for a long time. I had to really sit down and
because her skin tone represents the type of women that he would cheat on you with.
Yes.
No, she wasn't whining us. She meant that.
And so then it just played on the rejection and the abandonment and the not, like, choose me. What is there about me, right? Our daughter even has everything that you like search for, or at least preference.
Yeah.
In a woman. Now, every woman wasn't dark skinned, clearly, but there's a preference and a type, and a lot of them were. And so even our daughter came out in that preference, and I'm like, and that I feel like the Lord did that intentionally so that I could really deal with that. I could really deal with that aspect, and be able to teach my daughters, because I have 2 girls now.
Natu, your thoughts. Natu, you did it. Let's go with the Embassy. Natu, you're muted. You're muted.
Man of prestige.
Yeah.
That is deep. That on the in the like in a visceral way, like in the core inside of you, like no one can see except the God that created you. That emotion was sitting there for her. Okay. And the interpretation of that, and imagine if you have to carry that interpretation on your own child, that
you carried.
I can't. I cannot. I can't even. I will never know what that feels like because mine never get to that point, or maybe I didn't stay long enough to see to that point. Okay, but when I tell you that the emotional breakdown that comes with this kind of situation, man of prestige, is beyond, because it's not something that happened a day. It's like a slow.
It took all of 9 years plus more.
Yeah, slow, steady, sneaky. Looks like it is or it's not. It kind of just it changed exactly who you are from inside out. And if you don't have something to hang on to, I keep saying that, if you don't, because that process actually can, like, if you are able to come up from that kind of situation, the process you look at religion and spirituality differently. It's going to mean different thing to you.
Yeah.
Okay, religion is going to be religion. Spirituality, when you're in that situation and your healing about to start, it's the spirituality that come first, because that's the only thing you can hang on. You hang on to God for your dear life, for real, and that is how you're able to come out from it. It takes a lot, and again, once you come out of that, you will never be the same person again. That is it's like you
if you come out of it. If you come out of it, because
a
lot of people will never come out of it.
Trust me, some people will delay it inside of it and the reason for that is because they never hit that rock bottom. Okay, because the rock bottom is what's going to shoot you out of it.
You just keep sinking yourself.
Yes, you're just gonna keep, because you keep deep more hole for yourself. You are digging your own hole for yourself because you want to make it work. So some people continue to dig that hole until they delete it in there, and so that makes it different. So the person that dig their own hole and deleted in there, and please don't get me wrong, guys. What I'm saying, it's not like I'm not saying that they are intentionally.
You're not blaming the victim. It's not. It's like you're trying to do this. You're slapping yourself. You're hurting yourself, but you're just trying to save yourself.
So the difference between that person and someone like Denea was able to find spirituality.
Yes.
And then she hung on to that spirituality, and she used that spirituality as a rope to pull herself back up from that hole. So the fact that the husband said, "I'm going to divorce you," that was exactly what she needed at that time to say enough is enough. Because that's exactly what happened in mine. Because when mine came to me,
it seems like there's a delay between you and I, just so you know. Just think about how much work, right, that it took her to not answer all the people that wanted to get interview from her over the past 2 years. Just think about that.
I really commend her for that.
Right?
Like,
it takes everything in you. Like,
in her.
It must have been thousands of blogs trying to get interview from her, and she held off, right? Because the natural thing she would do is like, this man is wicked, let me throw him right back under the bus too. That's the natural thing to do.
Exactly. You know why she didn't do that? You want to know why she chose the path that she chose? Is because, again, she already hit that rock bottom, and then she used the spirituality rope to pull herself. So nothing mattered at that point. Yes. So she used the spirituality. She hung on to that spirituality. At that time, that's all she needed, just to get her to another stage where, to get her to where she is right now.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the people who never who never find something to hang on to, and when you hang on to that thing, it make you look like you are losing it, and trust me, you are losing it.
Yes,
It's just that even though
you're going to need some spiritual level
yes,
healing.
yes, that's gonna make from outside looking in, they will say, "Oh, she's
You
losing
need
it. She's losing
something
her
higher than
mind."
self. You need something higher than
Yourself.
self to help you with this.
That is only way. Exactly.
Yeah, because you're lost in the middle of all that kind of stuff. As men, we have our own version of that. Right? It's just not stuff like, we're probably not going to say the baby that's mine, but we're seeing that with the paternity conversation now these days. When you go home and you hear enough YouTube channels and you start to question the paternity of your children, that may be a version of that. But anyway, but yes, questioning, I always say that, yes, you find yourself in a space where you question everything about your own identity, everything you've ever believed in. You will question everything. And yes, at emotional level, and that's what she just saw. She said they had her, the child, because the child is a little bit darker skinned than her. Your husband is dark skinned, right? Wow, that's a lot. I don't know where Natu went to.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But that's why I try to get men, the Akenes and them, that want to get women to understand men. I said, listen, the best way to do that, first of all, understand them to a certain extent, and when a woman feel heard, you can penetrate everything literally,
Absolutely.
meaning even sexually, but even mindset wise, she's more open to hearing your side when she feels heard. For men, because in our society is God, men, women, and the cycle of life, right? You should be getting your source from God. You wanted to feel heard, especially in crisis. You really need to be tapping to God in that space. You don't have the luxury of waiting to tap from a woman. If you are lucky enough to have a woman who is closer to that side of her brain, they call it logic, right? And she's willing to listen like that, there's a good chance that that's not something you find attractive. There's also a good chance that you won't be in this situation in the first place. But if there's crisis going on, she's looking for that leadership that she feeds off of you. And if she has to circumvent you and go to God, she can't respect you. And it starts with little conversations such as this, right? So
yes.
If you tell me if you tell me something is manipulative, I instantly interpret it as you feel it as manipulation, and I take that in as the truth, because the only truth when it comes to this conversation is our feelings and emotions. And
absolutely.
But there's reality and there's emotion. No. You're dealing with a human being. They have emotions, and if they're caught up in their emotions, if you're trying to jump out of that emotions using shortcuts like manipulation, it's not going to work. No matter how much you try to spell it out, if you're actively trying to explain, if we take too long to explain manipulation to you, you're still receiving the shalaye as manipulation. So it's a vicious cycle, right? It's not going to work. But let's go on to this next segment. I think we have a next segment here, and let's hear it. This segment is about, and I don't want us to stay that long today. It's about the divorce request. How she got the divorce request. Let me play it.
All these, I'm like,
we're talking about the women. You already knew about the women.
The other, there was more. I didn't know about.
So you thought it was 11 up to now, right? What did she say? It's more.
The girls, the women. Then I found out about all these. I'm like,
we're talking about the women. You already knew about the women.
The other, there was more. I didn't know about all of them.
You knew about 11. So
I knew about
more
the
than 11.
I knew about the 11. There's more. There's more than that, because homegirl that had my name in her mouth was not on the list of the 11. So I don't know if he gave me the first starting 11 or the last starting 11 or the middle, but her name wasn't on it. So
she's laughing about this.
So he told you he wanted a divorce when? And how did he tell you that?
September 29th, 2022. He sent me a text message saying that he was done with the marriage.
So 2022, but the video was recorded in 2021.
No, the video was recorded in 2022.
The what's known as the Helmet of Salvation video?
Oh no, that was in 2021.
Oh, you talking about the cursing video?
The cursing video.
The Helmet of Salvation.
We passed that.
Yeah.
I want to go back to how did y'all, after you recorded that video, we're gonna call it the Helmet of Salvation video. What did the marriage start looking like?
Oh, after that, we leaned in. I feel like we leaned in to each other. We had our spiritual counsel actually came closer. They were making house calls to us, bringing us.
I bet that was short lifespan.
Stuff, talking to us individually, and then there was some. He started asking me questions like, when's the last time you were in love, or in love with me? And I was like 2 years ago. Like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you right now. And in my mind, it makes sense why I'm not necessarily in love, but I do love you. And so that.
All right, this is a part that men struggle with a lot. There are two things there, right? There is the divorce request by text message, and there is the love and in love. What are your thoughts around that?
So, which one is the first one again?
Well, we found out that there were more than 11. Then also he requested for divorce by text. I think we're going to come back to that, so don't even worry about that too much. But more like there's more than 11 people, and now he's asking like, when was the last time you've been in love with me? And then he found out that it's been like close to 2 years that she had been in love with.
So, so that particular time, in that particular space in time, Denia already now, she's slowly, for surely, realizing that it's not gonna be the way she wanted it. Okay. Now there's no filter. She's gonna be honest about exactly what she's feeling.
Right.
And I'm sure maybe she's been honest what she's feeling even from the past. The only thing is the person that she's dealing with doesn't care about how she feels, and it sounds so cold. Like, don't say that. But trust me.
Right.
Because
what do you mean? You're not in love.
Yeah. What do you mean? And then that is a rejection that he cannot handle. Even though he's been doing the opposite of that to her all this time. The fact that came out of her mouth to him, that you don't want to do that to someone like Jackson, or you don't want to say that to someone like Jackson. They do not have the mental capacity to even process it. It's just go automatically into rejection. Like, wow, she just rejected me.
Yeah. We all hate rejection, all of us.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. Like, what do you mean? Like, even if you didn't like that person, the moment that person demonstrates a little bit of they reject you, you start to doubt yourself, and then attraction kicks in the opposite direction, right? Yeah, that's crazy. So something that men have a hard time understanding is just the difference between real love and in love. You love a person, or you're in love with a person. Those are two different things. You're in love with a person means your emotions are engaged. You have infatuation about this person. They can't do no wrong in your eyes. There's butterflies. Their eyes tick when they talk about, And then the love is like it's much more of a function of time, right? A lot that has gone into that. I have vested interest, right? And into the future is more on an intentional basis, as in like, I choose to serve, I choose to give to you, right? In the future direction, right? Love in terms of the past is like, if I look in the past, we have so much that we've done together. Of course I love you, right? But in love is now. I feel, right? And it's a feeling. Don't worry about the semantics. A lot of them get stuck with the semantics. That's BS. Or it's a reality. She just told you that I haven't been in love with you for about 2 years for obvious reasons, and you need that. You need your woman to be in love with you precisely while you're arguing against it. That's why you're arguing against it, and your neck is about to break. Don't argue against your destiny. You have a need that your wife will be in love with you. No. I just married for procreation. Kenny just left. I just married for procreation. No, you actively want your woman to be in love with you. because you enjoy the Kerewa more when she is. You enjoy everything more when she is, because she's literally in a position where she's willing to give for no reason that's written on paper. She just feels like giving to you. That is the space that's ideal. Now, it's an up and down thing in reality. There's going to be moments, but hopefully over time, it's an upward trend. But the truth is that you're going to get to a point, they say it's around 2 years, it's going to crash. Because now you need to build an actual foundation. That foundation that you built was BS. You didn't know what you were doing, right? And for them, this was around 2021. They got married in 2018 into 2019. Is it making sense? Small. This is not too far from what you would typically see out there. I know that we can see a lot of toxic behavior here, right? But all of you will go through this at that 2 years mark. All of you, right? And when you are aware of that, at least you're better prepared for it. Like, okay, this is the 2 year thing. It's the 5 year thing. We're going through it. It's growing pain, right? When you will still have to walk through it, but it's going to be a little bit easier if you're not just completely naive and completely oblivious to it. This is just the reality when you bring two people together to try to do life. But he couldn't handle it. Most men would not be able to handle that, okay? Because it tampers with your ego. Like, what? I married you. What do you mean? Like, well, if you're that confident, you'll be like, you're not in love. Well, what can I do to make things easier, babe? That would be ideal, right? But when your emotions are tampered with, your ego, right? It feels like an attack. It feels like, are you trying to tell me I'm not man enough? Well, don't do that, or if you're not there yet. What you do is, he says she's not in love. Like, usually there's some events that's happened in recent times that is really not that much of a surprise. Just like, I understand. Let me know, is there anything I can do to make things easier? Let me be honest with you. She's talking about her feelings. Okay, that's just how she feels in this moment. She's feeling a little safe enough to tell you, because in the grand scheme of things, she wants things to be better. Right? She wants things to be better. And if you're not able to engage that, if all you are engaged with is your ego that just got tampered with, you will create more damages. And that's basically what she's saying. And that's exactly what he overreacted to all of that. He overreacted back and forth to when she said, I haven't been in love for 2 years. She even took the time to explain it, which means you're putting her in a part of her brain where she has to be masculine to protect you. And it's supposed to be the other way around. Yeah, it just
you know why he overreacted. You know why he overreacted to that. It goes back to the emotional intelligence of a person. Okay.
Make sure you stick to your signal is acting.
My signal is acting.
Yeah, your signal is acting up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes. Let's try.
So I'm saying that the reason why he reacted the way he reacted is because, in my opinion, it looks from looking in, he lacks that emotional intelligence of a man.
Yes. Yeah. Right? He got caught up. He got caught up in his own emotions.
And that make a whole lot of difference of how the relation, because like you said, either way you're gonna go through it anyway, right?
Yes.
Again,
it's gonna happen.
Going through it is one thing. Who are you going through it with? That is what like if you are in it, pay attention. Like, who am I going through it with? And those are the questions that I didn't even know. I didn't know what that was. So I don't even have the idea to even ask that question in my situation. But I didn't even know. All I was trying to do is, this must be normal. I mean, that was my first marriage.
Yeah, you're trying to normalize it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Let me play this next part right here. This part right here that I'm about to play. If you missed it in the beginning, yeah, it's going to shock you.
It shock you.
It's going to shock you. Let me play. Okay.
There was nearly 100 women on women, so everything that he could recollect, and there was nearly 100, and so he had to make a list.
Remember that list thing you were talking about? Okay. He had to make a list.
And so he made a list of women, so everything that he could recollect, and there was nearly 100 women on there. And so
You're talking about the 100. Where you going back
that he
to?
wrote on the list. Now
You talking about you talking about in his lifetime, or you talking about while y'all were dealing with each other?
okay, so we have to define these things. So I did not do
100.
defining if it was the lifetime of his
From
lifetime
11 to
or if it was
100.
specific to just
Well, heck, he been dating you since he was 19.
right. So in my mind, to me that's a lifetime, right?
Yeah,
you know, in my
yeah.
mind
That is a
So
lifetime.
I'm thinking at least since we have met, since we were 19.
He wrote down 100 names.
Yes.
What did you think when you saw that?
He did say, if I said hello, if I did that, I wrote down.
That.
He said that.
The name is silly.
100.
Like,
Oh God.
I mean, what do you really do with
What do you?
that? Like, I don't know. I was just like, okay, I forgive you for all these things.
100. What do you think? She disappeared. Let me just do my own interpretation. Everybody, this is a long one. We're about 3 hours in right now. Let me just go ahead and run through with this real quick. Oh, she came back. Did you hear all of it? On mute. I think you do have a delay. Your connection.
Yeah, my connection. I feel like I'm about to move out from this house anyway.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I think
100.
You know, I was telling you earlier that
Even
in my
Big Pay
situation,
even Big Pay came out of the hole. So said 100 women. Now wow.
I believe her. I believe my. I mean, maybe if I continue, my reach 100. I don't know, because I had to stop at 25. I'm not lying. I had that list written out.
Yeah, but you were writing.
Names.
You were the one writing it, right? He was the one
I
writing
am the
his
one
own
writing
at
it
the
out.
therapy.
So imagine if I had asked mine to write it out. I mean,
To
maybe
write
I
it
could
out.
like get more out of him, you know. But yeah, that was real. That was messed up. It was.
So my
that did
understanding is
something to
that the infidelity recovery programs that they have out there, they make them write it. Is that what's going on here? Is that part of the infidelity?
I don't know.
recovery
I never had him to do that. With the grace
Why
of
were
God,
you? Why were you writing? Why were you writing in your own case? Not the case. By the way, just to be clear, she wasn't cheating with these people. She was writing her partner's people he was cheating with. Correct?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right.
All right.
No. Okay. Yeah. Please, guys. No, it was the other way around.
All right. The other way around. You were writing the names of people you know he's cheated with.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely. And you know, the funny thing in my situation, I find out mine the same one day. In one day, I find out everything. So
Jesus.
that did something to me.
Yeah, and that's the part of the
Like-
conversation I want to come to, because I think what they're saying is that part of the infidelity recovery that they sign up for is that they make you write it all out and come up in the open, right? And they would need to explain, whoever is designing this infidelity recovery programs will need to explain to me what good they expect to come out of this. I understand they're trying to start on the clean slate. I get that part. I understand the honesty is the best policy thing, but I'm not. They need to explain to me how they've counted for the fact that these are human minds we're talking about. When you tell a woman,
My
right?
network
Oh,
is acting up so bad. I don't know if you can hear
it's
me.
acting up. I can hear you, but it's probably with a delay. You probably need to go completely out and then maybe restart your phone. You might need to do that, right? So maybe some of you have gone through some of the infidelity recovery programs they have out there, the standardized ones. How exactly did they want to account for the human mind that is finding out for the first time? Let me kick out. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me out? Before I kick you
I
out,
can
so
hear you
can
now.
come. Okay, all right, good.
No, I
All
can
right,
hear you now.
so they'll need to tell me. I will need them to tell me how they account for the fact that this is a human mind. A person that just found out that you betrayed them with 100 other people, right? How exact? They need to show me where they plan to help them build trust back up again. They need to show me how they're going to make that happen.
You know, the funny thing about my situation is when I find out, I sat on it maybe for like a week or 2 weeks because I was speechless, and I like to talk, but trust me,
So you were
that
going
list
in.
humble me.
He was collecting.
Oof.
He was just collecting water. I bet, right? Like who's bass? Abby, is that what happened?
No, no, not immediately. That didn't happen immediately. I was humbled with that list. I'm not gonna lie, and I
You were
said that
humbled.
because yes, I had to process it. I give myself like a week or two just to process it all. I couldn't. As much as I can, I feel like I can defend myself and I can talk to myself and all that. I couldn't do it that particular time. I was lost.
Crazy.
And when
That's
I
crazy.
finally able to show it, I didn't show it in a healthy way either.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Probably most people react to fight or flight, right? Shut down or start to fight. You know, because you know, like it's all been a lie, right? Like this has all been
Everything.
a lie, right?
Everything.
So
Everything. I questioned everything.
I want to trust those programs out there that they have a plan to help people build a trust. But when you tell somebody to list out a name of 100 and they're coming from, I don't know, I will find out. I want to know what they have in their programs, you know. Because I believe personally, I believe in honesty, but I also believe in power. As you know, we discuss power here. I believe that if you're going to reveal any type of information, you better have a deeper level of wisdom than just the depth of the information, because you're going to need it, right? I don't want to say I believe that some things you should take it to your grave. Yeah, I don't want to say it exactly like that.
What do you need?
Because yeah, I don't want to say it exactly like that because I do believe in honesty too. But
No, don't
I
come
just
to tray. And I'm downstairs to make food just now. My network
she's,
is really acting up really bad.
yeah. Let me mute her. I can't even mute her.
You know,
Yeah,
my phone is really acting up. I'm gonna come off.
let me force kick her out of kick. Yeah, come off. If you can come off, let me just see. Yeah, I'm gonna kick her from the studio so she can come back naturally, because I don't think I would want to know all of that information. That's what I'm talking about right here. So I'm sure the ones that have those programs, they have some kind of part of the program where they help try to, if both of you are willing to subscribe to it. And the point is that, are you capable of subscribing to engaging in a program to healthily build something all over again? Because the mind is a very delicate thing. Once you write into it, right, you can't erase it once you write into it. You know, that is a lot for my mind to handle. I won't be able to sexually involve with that man again, all that bodily fluids and energy. And that's precisely what happened with them. She was trying to stay, but she was having a hard time being intimate with him. We haven't gotten to that part yet, so let me go ahead and go to the next part here so that we can let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and yeah, most human beings will not be able to handle it, men included. Oh, we've told the whole truth now. We should be able to start from clean slate. Don't count on it. Don't count on it. Most human beings will not be able to, and that's, even if they stay, they will be basically miserable, which is what it looks like what happened. Okay, miserable. Okay, completely miserable. All right, let's.
Would you be okay with him saying this? Danae, it is what it is. I love having sex with multiple women. I'm never going to dishonor you. I will make sure that none of this is brought out in the open. I'm gonna have
This is a question for you all now.
Provide the lifestyle that you dream of. I'm gonna honor you. I'm gonna respect you. I'm gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna be a very present husband. But you have to allow me. I'm a man of means. You have to allow me to have sex with multiple women as I see fit. Can you agree with that?
What Bible verse is that?
We ain't gonna go by no Bible verses. The book of Derek.
No.
Or do you agree with this?
Book of Derek.
No.
You're right.
No. And then I want to know what scripture that's in.
So let me. I'm asking you, if you're still with me in the chat, would you be okay with a man coming to you and being honest all the way? Will you be okay with a man coming to you? He's just honest. He's just honest. Let me repeat the question.
To this point, why were you so careless?
Yeah.
Did you not think about this?
Yep.
Why didn't you get a gag order on these?
Yeah.
You
over here trying to protect the bag.
Right.
You like, you should have did this.
He's just trying to be honest.
So there was a lot of that, and then
with
that, I think that took a toll on him too. Just like he's still a whole person that has feelings and all that.
Would you been okay with this?
So
this is the question. Here goes the question.
Reimagine your marriage. Would you be okay with him saying this? Danae, it is what it is.
It's just being honest. Honesty is the best policy, remember? Would you be okay with it? A lot of men, modern men, are fantasizing about this, as you know. Like, hey, just be honest. Just tell the honest truth up front. And on both extreme of their mouth. Some of them are saying, if you're going to do that, just be honest. I'll just be honest. Some of them are, women will be able to accept the honest truth. A lot of women would just say yes, right? Let's see if we'll have at least one person here that will say yes to this. Here's the question.
I love having sex with multiple women. I'm never going to dishonor you. I will make sure that none of this is brought out in the open. I'm gonna have this on the side. You're gonna provide the lifestyle that you dream of. I'm gonna honor you. I'm gonna respect you. I'm gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna be a very present husband. But you have to allow me. I'm a man of means. You have to allow me to have sex with multiple women as I see fit. Can you agree with that?
What Bible verse is that?
We ain't gonna go by no Bible verses. The book of Derek. No. Or do you agree with this?
Will it work, huh?
Do you agree with this?
No.
It's not going to work, no? So honesty is not enough? Honesty is not enough? What's going on here, ladies? Honesty is not enough? Wait, let me first of all celebrate the $20. Thank you, Embassy. I know your signal is acting all out. Let's just dance. So basically, modern men, we are whining Jesus. Everybody is saying no. We're just whining Jesus, eh? Thank you so much for that $20, Tima. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming up to help the conversation. No thanks, I'll pass. Huh? I thought all you want is honesty. Honesty is not enough. Kilo day. Honesty, being honest up front. Say, hey, I can take care of you. I'll take care of you. I'll protect myself. I'll do tests every other week to make sure that I don't bring any diseases to the household. I'll take care of you and our kids. I will love you. I'll be present. Kathy, let me see. Kathy saying yes. You need to let the person know before you start dating the person, not when you're. No, I'm saying at any point, including in the beginning. If I let you know upfront, will you marry me? Is the question, right? If I let you know upfront and you really like me, and I let you know upfront, will you appreciate that and say, hey, I like him anyway? He's upfront. He's honest, right? Anybody going for 1, 2, 3, yes, 5, 6, yes, no? Anybody? No. There's a hard no here. Jesus. The question is contradictory. How can a man say he will respect you, but they wants to have extra? No, it's not extramarital now. It's honesty upfront. There's no cheating involved because it's just polygamy, right? Because we're talking about polygamy right now. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay, polygamy. That's what we're talking about. Just upfront, full chest polygamy, right? This is what the top of the thumbnail says. Monogamy is unnatural. Do you guys believe monogamy is unnatural for men? It's not a natural thing. Do you subscribe to that? Everybody's just saying no. Anybody? Let me see. The question is contradictory. How can a man? No, he's respecting you enough to tell you up front. That's precisely what we're talking about. GS. Shout out to you, GS. Just also say, if a man wants other partners, tell her before you get married. Yeah, up front. Would you as a person would you appreciate that and say yes? Don't bring your fantasy to me in the middle of the marriage. Not the marriage. In the beginning. Would you have appreciated that? Me self get fantasy, but I get sense. Voila. Just wondering about STDs. We'll do test every other week. Okay, every other month. Okay, no, every 3 months we'll do a test. Anybody willing to say yes to this, or this is just all fantasies? It will never happen. Ladies, come on now. Somebody can say yes at least. Some people may be open to it. Some people be Tibawo. Are you open to it, Kati? So if you let them know that is what you want in the marriage, then may go ahead with it. Are you Dura, what's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you, man. Are you open to saying yes if they let you know up front? Just talk about you for yourself now. Don't worry about some other people. We're always talking about some other people and they're never here. For you, you tell me right now. Kati say I'm not open to it. So this is all a fantasy. She said no too, basically. Let me go on to the next segment here because wow. So this is all a fantasy. It's not gonna work. Could it work, eh? No? Ladies, it's not gonna work. It's not going to work, huh? Jesus Christ. If no one among 25 people can say yes, well, maybe about, I don't know how many women are here.
Factor to 11.
All right, we might need a little bit more samples to make a declaration on that. Let's see here. All right, so this next segment we're going to, I would like to know what your thoughts are about it. Yeah, they're making me run through ads right now. Okay, there we go.
A text message. You told me, sent the text message you saying he wanted a divorce. When was that?
That was September 29th, 2022.
And where were you when you received that text message?
We were both at home. He was upstairs. I was downstairs on the couch. I had just actually come back from, I did a freedom group where you basically, you're going through freedom with all these people. You're talking about stuff with a group of women and stuff like that, confidentiality. We're talking about forgiveness.
Why are you like this now?
And I was...
No. You say no after all the honesty.
I'm going to say, I forgive him for anything that I've been holding on to or has been coming out of me. And I did that. I said, I forgive you. Anything like that I have been doing that has shown unforgiveness.
She wanted to forgive
for that. And the next words out of his mouth was, or via text, should I say, was, I was done with us in this marriage after I said that. And I was like, okay, Lord, this is what forgiveness gives you.
You said, I forgive you of everything. And he said, I want out of the marriage.
Yes. Yes. Now, to spice it up, because I like spice. A couple of days before that, about 2 days before that, we were intimate. We were intimate, and then the next day, he's like, this is leading up to the text message. The next day, he was like, I don't want to be intimate with you anymore for 2 months. I just want you to be completely whole and healed because I know you're still uncovering your rape trauma and all this stuff. And I was like, how does that make any sense? How's that helping us? We just got done talking to someone that said that we need to come closer together and that I need to be communicating to you any whatever discomfort I do have, but I'm still able to do
Yes.
something, which I was doing stuff, you know.
So I was doing stuff.
I was doing stuff, and so
This guy's
he's
stupid.
like, I don't even want that because it just feels like constant rejection, and I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, he couldn't handle rejection. He was having a hard time. But a fine boy like him is having a hard time handling rejection, right? And you will be rejected by your wife who feels hurt. It's just the way it's gonna go. It's gonna everything in you is gonna be tested to bring this back to healing. If you've gone through a situation where you lost your marriage, especially you're still inside of the marriage physically, but you lost your marriage and you're trying to work on it, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. You will be rejected a lot. Not necessarily because she's trying to reject you. This is the part where people say weaponized sex. I was like, what do you mean? What's the rest of the story? Why is she? Why? Yes, okay, I agree with you. She's weaponizing it. Why? Can you hold yourself accountable? Hold yourself responsible to get to the why. Are you patient enough to get to why she doesn't want to do career with you? Right? Abby, well, you're gonna get caught up in your feelings, right? So a couple of things going on there. Asking the way he asked for it, the way he asked for that divorce is telling. It sounds to me that they just had an altercation, and she tried to come back and say, I've forgiven you, but sometimes it's just too late. Right? So when people say they are playing games and they're doing the back and forth, either intentionally or not, sometimes it's just too late. Right? Sometimes just too late. What do we know about marriage and the stats and the data we know? A lot of times men will stay in because they can get around that. 80% of the time women will file for divorce, almost 80% of the time, right? They will give up. And you're like, well, women are just pulling plug on the marriage. Well, no, you need to tell me the rest of the story. What happened? What was going on before that point, right? In this case, she wasn't going to leave. She was just going to, quote unquote, punish him, right? Well, she's going through her own stuff. She even talked about them getting intimate, but no intercourse. They do other things. Yeah, that's given. You're back. Is your network better now?
Kind of. This my network is something.
Thank you so much for the $20, by the way. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's still.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No, it's not good. I'm gonna pull out. I can't hear you. I'll just pull out.
Hear me. Yeah.
I came back because of the divorce thing.
The request.
I don't know if you can hear me now. If I'm stable enough.
I can hear you. Say it. I can hear you. Say it. I can hear you.
So
let's see.
She did what she did. I mean, he did what he did, in my opinion, because clearly, Denaya is slipping away now because Denaya is not listening now. Denaya is questioning a lot of things, and I'm sure because she's in her feelings, she's not responding accordingly to him, and so the next best thing for him to do is to just discard her altogether. So and I think he might expect her at that moment to be crying and be willing and begging to say, let's work it out and what. But trust me, Denaya herself has had enough of him. I think that was the breakthrough she was waiting for, and everything just worked out in a way that we are looking at right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick you out regardless because I need you to be able to hear me when I'm talking. I'll kick you out if you want to come back again. Try it again. Let me kick. Okay, all right, good. So I agree with that. And gentlemen, this message is for you. This message is actually for you. I agree with her that she was done too. Just because somebody is in that marriage and they're patching things, right? Just because you're the one that pulled the plug doesn't mean the other person wants to stay there. Sometimes, like I always say, there's no such thing as simultaneously coming together, and it never works like that. Somebody's going to be the first to pull the plug or to engage, even if it's a positive thing we're talking about, right? Somebody's going to start a dance, right? It takes two to tango, but somebody's going to kind of like lead And then when you start tangoing, you can say it takes once the dance is going, then you can claim it takes two to tango. But it often takes one person to say, I got you, right? Then, hey, right? It's the same thing on the negative side of things, right? They were done. All right. Sometimes you don't realize you're done because you're trying to figure things out. That's what you call it, right? You're just trying to figure things out, and you don't realize that you're actually just done, right? Sometimes when people ask for space, they say, hey, I need some space. You overreact to that because you feel it.
And you need this done by...
You feel it as rejection, right? But you probably need the space more. You need to embrace it. Say, I understand. Let's take some time to work on ourselves. And if you belong there, you will come back together. Trust me. But you need to let go. That's the hardest things for human beings to do. It's probably the next best move, right? And yes, it makes sense that somebody rejects you. It feels like rejection. You just overreact and you're all over the place. And and men have a hard time with this. There's a good chance that you probably should back off of each other, right? And I understand the feeling. It feels like somebody's pulling the rug from under you, right? I get it. But it's probably for your own good, because what's the point in staying in a situation that's it's not healthy anyway, right? If you back off, it doesn't have to be a permanent decision. If you're afraid, if you have fear that it might be a permanent decision, maybe that's the problem. Maybe you lack self-respect, self-love, self-worth. Maybe you're smothering the other person. Maybe that's why they're trying to run away from you. Right? Fear. Fear can be a good motivator, but in these conversations, fear is often a negative, as opposed to operating from a place of faith, right? Or trust, right? Fear is often not a good thing, okay? In this context, let's keep going.
Yeah, I said, okay, if that's what you want. And then the next day, he made a video.
So that was our response. Watch this. Speaking of manipulation, when people manipulate, even when they have good intentions, they often continue to dig even deeper hole for themselves, right? They continue in that same path of thoughts, methods, strategy. It just doesn't work. It makes things worse.
Find it okay?
Yeah, I said, okay, if that's what you want. And then the next day, he made a video. He's wearing all brown. And it's like, if somebody says, okay, if that's what you want, it's manipulative.
Is the kettle calling the pot black, huh? Is that what they say? I be the kettle calling the pot. Is it kettle calling the stove black? How do they say? Right? Who's gonna beat who to eat first? Who is being manipulative? It's you. It's me. No, you're a liar. No, I'm a liar. Both of you are probably liars. Okay. It's not about the names. It's not about the name calling. It's not about the semantics. It's about the result you've created. There's division. There's active division going on right now. Who is going to stop first to realize that? Everyone is caught up in their emotions. They feel attacked. They're trying to protect each other.
And I was like, oh, and then I commented on it. I was like, facts. I got blocked, I think.
All right. That's funny. That's funny. If that's what you want is manipulative, how? What do you mean? Okay, if that's what you want, how is that manipulative? Simisola is the first time I'm seeing you here, by the way. I don't recall your name, so shout out to you for being here. Let me just do the needful really quickly before we continue. Yeah, so one last segment. I thought I would do this because this was a fantastic comment. This was a good one, and I thought content. I meant to say this is fantastic content, right? And I want to say shout out to this brother.
It's time to hit refresh.
The host of Dear Future Wife. This is a good one because the way he did the interview too. it makes it pretty easy to extract the lessons. So Simi says, I come here quietly and enjoy your conversations. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad we're able to do that. All right, so this last segment right here, I thought that's all we have of her. She holding herself accountable. I think she's in the right direction personally. If she did that inside of the marriage, there's a good chance. But when the person is still in your face, if you don't pull the plug, if you don't hit some type of rock bottom, sometimes you just can't engage proper healing. It's just hard. It's very hard. Anything I say here is easier said than done. So you need a lot of support system if you're going through this kind of stuff. Lots of support system. And I think one-time visits to therapy, one-time visits to counselor doesn't help. If anything, it makes it worse. It needs to be at least 1 year of engagement with wise counsel, and take your time. And the marriage will be all right if you're okay. If you're not okay, the marriage no good be all right. That relationship no good be all right if you're not okay. That's a guarantee, okay? All right, that's a guarantee, and that's 100% always true. So let me play this. He said a few things about himself. I thought we should end it with that.
Danae, let me tell you something. Who you sitting across? You're sitting across a guy who cheated on my wife multiple times when I was married.
Wow.
And the only difference between me and your current husband is that I never created a platform to try to tell people what not to do and the men and try to bash men. I dealt with my struggles privately. I did write her a list and wrote down the names of the people that I had cheated on her with. I walked through the proper healing from that. I went through therapy and counseling. I did all that, and then I put that behind me. And I just felt like it was best for us to part ways after that. And I prayed and asked God to allow me to divorce my wife with grace. And so she and I still have a cool relationship. And so when I look at the journey that God has brought me through and has afforded me the opportunity to sit across from a woman that has encountered her heart being mishandled like I did when I was married, I made a vow to myself and I made a vow to my Heavenly Father that I would do the work in my single life so that I never allow a woman to encounter the mishandling of her heart by my hands ever again.
Yeah, I think we should leave it right there. Thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you so much for the $20 super sticker, Tima. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Here's my last word on this issue. By the way, on your way out, please make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. But here's my last word on this particular topic, right? I think a major part of today's was really the meanings you attached to the events of your life. Okay, there's a space for calling it exactly for what it is. That's the majority of the issues you're going to deal with are going to be your ability to be able to assign the right meanings to the events of your life. Either you're still inside the marriage or you already left. It's the same thing. It does, like, all that stuff is status, right? You're married right now, you're divorced right now, you're still single. All that is status, okay? What you need to be more concerned about is you, self. It goes back to self. It goes back to if you're adequate enough to take care of yourself, if you have enough self-love, enough self-respect, enough self-worth. People really don't have a choice over a longer term than just instant gratification to mimic that level of self-respect you have for yourself. They don't have a choice, okay? If they are moving mad and they come to your life fresh starts, they might act mad for a second, but because you have enough self-respect, you are able to, you have enough abundance mindset that you're able to let go, remove yourself from situations that are not good for you, right? But who are we kidding? Right? We're human beings. Sometimes there's no perfect anybody, right? Sometimes you already find yourself in that situation, but it's never too late, right? You could say right now is the rock bottom. I won't I won't accept anything. Now, there's a fine line between tolerance and not just accepting anything. Okay, oftentimes a lot of people just don't have any space for tolerance. But it's all coming from our experiences, right? That's why I said you need support system. You need a good support system to help you assess things, to help you see things beyond just pain, right? Because if you've gone through it yourself, all you can do is read your pain. That's all you can do, right? But if you have other people have a say, the people that you respect, they have an opinion, even if you disagree with it, you can respect it, that that's a different perspective, right? Then maybe you can operate from a better standpoint. But the major lesson is this, okay? The events that has happened in your life, they don't have to define you. You literally can choose to define yourself, okay? You can. Sometimes you need support system, okay? Sometimes you're too weak to be able to, all you can read is just pain. It's just that painful, right? You know, but if you find yourself that everyone is at fault, everyone else, people are just wicked, if that's how you see your relationships, you hear me say sometimes, this world is a vicious world. But when it comes to individuals, you rarely see me look at the person and say they're just wicked. Because that's literally me giving power away. That's the way I see it, okay? That doesn't change the fact that there could be a wicked person, okay? But I want to put that aside for a second. I want to see a little bit closer and understand what's going on, especially if I'm still in this person's life, this person is still in my life, and for some reason I'm gaining something, I'm still in their life. Then I better be looking a little bit deeper beyond just they're wicked. Even if it's a fact that they're wicked, I need deeper understanding of what's going on, right? Before we can make that full conclusion. Because if I conclude right there, there's no further lessons to learn. They're just wicked. Destroy them. Just destroy them from your life. Get rid of them. If you're not able to get rid of them that easy, then there's more to that story. And my hope is that you're able to assess things from that standpoint, okay? But shout out to Dear Future Wife for the content, fantastic content. Shout out to Dania Jackson for being able to share. I hope she stays on that journey. She says she's starting a healing school. No rush on that though. You know, content creation, trying to help other people, no be beans. Take your time. You know, that's for any one of you that are here. You want to help everybody because you've gone through something. Take it easy. Help yourself first. Put your own mask on first before you attempt to help anybody else. Okay. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.